Good morning, Raptor Freaks. It's Saturday, and we've got a very busy stream this morning as far as a reaction to a great win over the Philadelphia 76ers at Scotiabank Arena last night. And I've got to preview the game for tonight in Minnesota. Back to back on the road. They went on the road. They had the game early last night. They got done, and then they had to fly to Minnesota and get an extra hour and play against the Timberwolves tonight. So we'll start the stream in its right order. We're going to go ahead and do the game day preview right now so people can see what's going on with the Minnesota game tonight, and then we'll react to the Philadelphia game afterwards. And so let me get through my spiel for tonight, and then we'll start with the comments, and we'll talk about this fantastic win over Nick Nurse and the 76ers last night. We ain't going over in the Atlantic Division this year, baby. That's right. Yeah, let's go. All right. Enough of that. Back to business, Lex. All right, let's get going. All right, first of all, y'all, this is a Minnesota Timberwolves team that is not injured in any kind of way. They have no injury report. This is the 100% healthy Minnesota Timberwolves, new addition after the trade Cat to New York for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. Their starting lineup is Mike Conley, the veteran, the former Grizzly, Anthony Edwards, the face of the league, Mr. Kermit, Jaden McDaniels, not that McDaniels from Wish, the real deal Holyfield Jaden, Julius Randle, who went crazy with Anthony Edwards in their last game, bombing 5 threes each and getting over 30 points. In fact, this was something that had never been done by the Timberwolves ever until now. And everybody in Timberwolves Nation saying, man, why couldn't Cat do that with Anthony Edwards? Well, Julius did it in his second game, and that's very interesting. And then, of course, the big dummy from France in the middle, Mr. I'm going to touch the microphone. Rudy Gobert. Yeah, that's their starters. Off the bench, they got Dante DiVincenzo. Our guy, Nickel. Yeah, that's right. SGA's cousin, Nickel Alexander Walker. We love you, Team Canada. Salute. Joe Ingles from Australia, mate. And Naz Reid, of course, sixth man of the year. Very dominant kind of player. In some ways, he's somebody we're going to have to watch out for tonight. Also, have the rookie, Rob Dillingham, who has not shown up and played very much this season so far. Our Canadian friend from Fort Erie, Leonard Miller, is on the bench there. Luka Garza, Terrence Shannon, this junior, and PJ Dozier and Daishen Nix. That's basically the Minnesota Timberwolves team. Now, I would say this about that team. They are taller than the team we saw last night, so this is going to be some work again. Of course, the Jakob versus Rudy Gobert matchup is very key. We're going to have to see Jakob play more like he did last night than he did in the first game, and hopefully we can have the neutralizing of the big dummy Frenchman. Now, the other things is like, look, we got to contain Anthony Edwards as far as maybe Ochai Agbaji can do some good defensive work on him and expand his defensive repertoire by showing that he can hold down the Ant-Man a little bit, because that's going to be a tough assignment. Of course, Julius Randle has his own set of difficulties and things that we have to deal with as far as being a prolific scorer in the NBA for many years. And maybe Scott will be up to the challenge. Maybe Jonathan Mogbo, those West Palm Beach boys showing up last night. Well, maybe they can show up again tonight, because that'd be real nice to try and slow down Julius Randle. So it'll be very much a battle. In some ways, this is our first road game. So this is going to be another whole kind of feeling to it too. We got a little bit of home cooking with the calls in some ways, not in the first game with Mark Davis, but last night with Tony Brothers. Yeah, we were getting some calls, y'all. It was very nice, honestly. All right, on our side of things, things are pretty much the same for the most part. Emmanuel Quickley has not traveled to Minnesota. He is still here in Toronto, so he will not be playing tonight for sure. There is a chance RJ is playing, though. Just so y'all know, he is day-to-day, and he could be playing tonight. He did travel with the team to Minnesota, and I'm hoping that means he probably will play. So I'm once again going to say RJ's playing tonight, guys. Even if I'm completely wrong. I've been wrong the first 2 games already. I'm going to go the third time's a charm. And RJ's going to play tonight, guys. I really do feel like that. Kelly Olynyk, I don't know what's going on with him. In some ways, I'm like, Kelly, just get back out there, man. We need you, bro. Your veteran wiliness, you're goofy, falling all over the place. kind of basketball. We need that out there right now. We need chaos from you in the way that you do it. Bruce Brown, Jacoby Walter. So the perspective, starting lineup for the Raptors tonight in Minnesota, Davion Mitchell, Grady Dick, hopefully RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, and Jakob Poeltl. And, in some ways I can see RJ showing up partly because Julius is in this game. We know that Julius Randle is a good friend of our two former Knick Raptors, Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett. And in some ways, I would think RJ Barrett may want to show up tonight just to say hello to his old friend, Julius, and have a friendly battle in this game that has nothing to do with the Knickerbockers. So it'll be very interesting to see. Of course, I thought Davion Mitchell did a fantastic job jumping into the starting lineup for Emmanuel Quickley last night in the matchup against the Sixers. Did a fantastic job trying to slow down Tyrese Maxey, along with the other point guards of the Raptors last night. They were very successful. We'll get to that in a second. So, yeah, there's your injury report, your latest lineup news, and what we're seeing for what's probably going to be likely for the matchup tonight. Here is our crew for tonight's game in Minnesota. Curtis Blair is a crew chief tonight. Curtis Blair is a friendly ref to the Raptors, number 74 in his 17th season as a referee. His favorite TV show is Dexter. That's that serial killer show, right? Yeah. His favorite movie is Grease. You're the one that I want. Woo-hoo-hoo. I always think that's weird that Curtis Blair loves that movie Grease. That's not normal in some ways. It's like you just like the singing and the dancing and the greaser and the middle-aged people acting like they're high schoolers. What is it about Grease that you like, Curtis Blair? Either way, I love you, man. You're an awesome referee. Casey and JoJo is what he's jamming out to. His favorite meal is lamb curry. He'd most like to visit Brazil. That's pretty cool. I don't hear many refs saying, I'd like to go to Brazil. I think that's very cool. Oscar Schmidt country. That's right. And his hidden talent is tennis. This man can play some tennis. Of course, Curtis Blair actually played in the NBA, y'all. He was selected by the Houston Rockets in the second round of the 1992 NBA draft, and he played professionally in Australia, Austria, and Turkey. So I don't know. Maybe he didn't make the team, but he did get drafted in the NBA. Either way, Curtis Blair is a friendly ref to us, guys. We don't mind Curtis Blair. He's the best ref today. We win 59% of our games when Curtis Blair is around. So that's almost 60% of our games, y'all. Meanwhile, the Timberwolves win 47% of their games. So the split with Curtis Blair, the crew chief tonight, is 59-47 for the Raptors. Let's go, Curtis. That's right. Second rep is the one I hate. You're the one that I hate. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, you're the one that I hate. Marat Kogat. Yes, that's right. The magician is back once again. The most infamous, notorious Ukrainian referee in the NBA. He is annoying. That's right. Don't be making foul calls disappear, magician. We don't need no rabbit out of your hat. Come on now, number 32. That's right. That he has number 32 because of magic. It's exactly what it is. It's a joke. The dude does magic, so his number is Magic's number, 32. Did y'all not get that? Seriously. Kogat's number is 32 because of Irvin Johnson. I'm not lying. 16th season out of Kyiv, Ukraine, but he grew up in Brooklyn because he came there as a toddler baby, a little baby. His favorite TV show is The Family Guy. Look, there's a Family Guy. He likes that movie, Catch Me If You Can, where Leonardo DiCaprio is punching it to the system. That's right. Leonardo's a badass. He's like, I'm a pilot. Hello, I'm a pilot. And Tom Hanks is coming after his ass. Let's see. Favorite musician is Queen. I see a little silhouette in the man. There's a bush, got a bush. Near to do the spandango. Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo. That's right, Marat. That's for you, man. You better do good to the Raptors tonight. I just sang some Bohemian Rhapsody for you, motherfucker. That's right. Yeah, let's go. Favorite book is The House when we beat Nick Nurse and the Sixers last night. Oh, I was a little bit of tears of joy last night, Marat. I'm going to tell you right now. His favorite meal is Neapolitan pizza. That's weird. I was going to say ice cream because I've never heard Neapolitan pizza. I guess, yeah, I remember that. But it's like makes me think, is this pizza chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla or something like that? I don't know. That sounds weird. His favorite app is Amazon. Fuck you and fuck the Washington Post and fuck you, Jeff Bezos, is what I'm saying this morning. You coward. You fucking coward. You want to show fascism. You're scared of Donald Trump. You will not endorse Kamala Harris with the Washington Post. Well, you get what you get, you coward. You get a bunch of unsubscribes and your fucking paper loses money, bitch. That's what you get. Yeah, I'll throw that in the middle of this. His favorite place to visit, or he most like to visit, is Croatia. And his hidden talent is he is a magician. That's right. We knew that about Murat Kogat. Yeah, his favorite, most memorable NBA assignment would be his first playoff game, game one of the first round series between Milwaukee and Indiana on April the 21st, 2024. His dad, wife, and children attended the game. So, yeah, Murat Kogut is one of the worst veteran refs for the Raptors in the league. And this is very interesting. I was like, well, he's got to be for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Lex, because we are like one of the worst teams win percentage with Murat. We win only 35% of our games, y'all. Well, guess what? The Minnesota Timberwolves are the same and 2 percentage points lower than us. They are 35 also, 35-1. We're 35-3. So technically, the magician who never, ever favors us actually favors us by 2/100ths of a percentage. Seriously, isn't that crazy? Seriously, cool. God actually favors us tonight. I was like, what? Is this a magic trick? You're going to sign the third referee in half, Miss Danielle Scott is the third referee, number 87 in her fourth season out of Woodland Hills, California. Her favorite TV show is West Philadelphia, born and raised in the playground is where I spent most of my days. You know what I'm talking about. Will Smith show, Prince of Bel-Air. That's right. Her favorite movie is Love and Basketball. Her favorite book is Think Like a Monk. Her favorite meal is chicken tikka masala. Her favorite app is Pinterest. You using that Pinterest? Danielle Scott? Okay, Pinterest. All right. She must like to visit Iceland. That's a cool place, Danielle Scott. You go to Iceland, you can see the cool northern lights and all kinds of cool shit there. Her bucket list is to learn sign language. I think that's an awesome bucket list, and I hope you do it as soon as possible. And her hidden talent is photography. This California native earned her bachelor's degree in business management with a minor in finance from Cal State Northridge. Yeah, Danielle Scott is right down the middle, y'all. Right down the middle on both teams, 500 and 500. The same exact record for both teams, and both teams have the same wins and the same losses with Danielle Scott. So she is right down the middle. It's almost like they looked at it and say, wow, Danielle, both these teams, she should go to Minnesota and ref this Toronto game. So, yeah, it's a very neutral kind of ref crew. The percentages and the splits are not very wide. They are slightly favoring the Raptors. So that is your ref report for tonight. I really do trust Curtis Blair. I do not trust Murat. And Danielle Scott, well, she's going to be the third ref, and we'll see how she interacts with everybody. But, yeah, Curtis Blair, you're cool. Danielle Scott, I don't know. You may be cool. And Murat, fuck you, is what I'm going to say. There you go. There's the ref report for tonight's game. Yeah, it's a very interesting crew. Curtis Blair's cool, man. Curtis Blair's all right. But, yeah, watch Kugat. That's what I'm going to say right there. If there's any 50-50 calls that could go either way, they're going to go the way of Minnesota if he's calling them. Watch. You can understand that. So there's the preview and the setup for the Minnesota game tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern at Minnesota Arena. That's right. Let's go. All right, let me check in with y'all's comments. We got so much to do. We got the classic card. We've got the Instagram stories. We got Leo's life tips. All the regular stuff we do on the Raptor Freak channel. Let's go. We got to react to the game last night. I got to go over the box score. I've got to give you the stars of the game. I have so many tabs open on my screen right now that we have to get through. And, well, we did the preview. At least we got that done in 13 minutes. Wow. Hey, all right. Yeah, a little lively preview, too. Yeah, you can see I'm a little bit live from the feelings of last night. You know, listen, I've been waiting for us to beat Nick Nurse. In some ways, I wanted that get back. That's why I said James Brown yesterday. I don't know karate, but I know crazy. It's a big payback. And in some ways, I wanted to get him last night, and we did. I said this yesterday. If we have a chance to beat Nick Nurse for the first time, it's tonight. And it does have something to do with Joel and Paul George not being able to be there. But I'm going to say something right now. Just like the Knicks, I feel like the Sixers have fucked up this summer. There's a lot of turnover with their team, and they lost some luminaries that actually really bona fide made them a better team overall. Because what did Nick Nurse say after the game? He said that they out-teamed us. Their team was better than our team. They played better. And that's what Darko said also, is like, we were the better team overall last night. This is something I said in the preview yesterday, that way that talent stacks up on two sides of the ball, well, sometimes it's very interesting how it goes down. And well, the Raptors were the more talented together team last night, and they got that big W over the Sixers. Yeah, there ain't gonna be no 0 and something in the Atlantic Division this year because we're starting 1-0, baby. And that how sweet it is to beat Nick Nurse. Yeah, woo! Let's go, Darko. You beat Nick. You beat Nick. Yeah, woo! I've been so happy about this. I literally cried tears of joy at the end of the game last night to see those West Palm boys in the bench, those beautiful, beautiful backup point guards the Raptors got now, holding off the Sixers and getting that big W, earning it the right way because, listen, let's not get it twisted. We know our former coach is going to throw every trick in the kitchen sink at that to beat us with that full court press, then the trapping and all that crazy shit he does with defense at the end of the game, and it didn't fucking matter. We stayed strong. We stayed steady. We kept scoring. We kept working. We kept hustling, and we paid off on doing what we do. Now, listen, it wasn't pretty. There were a lot of turnovers, and there were a lot of other things going on, but wow, the end result and the way that it all went down was Trey Magnifique, yes, and not add in the Kalo, the Groat in the whole recipe and watching his factors and things on there. Seeing him John with Jamal Shed at the end of the game. Woo, that makes a Raptor freak smile because he sees the past and the future in one window, in one picture on the screen with Jamal Shed and Kyle Lowry looking at each other like Spider-Man looking at each other. Oh, pointing. Oh, you're me. And Davion Mitchell is the third one. Oh my gosh, I am hyped. You can tell. All right, calm down, Lex. Oh, all right, here we go. Granny Evelyn's first in the chat, and Granny is on the road. She's out there. Good morning, my Raptor Freak family, from the awesome Cayo Paradon Beach Resort in Cuba. That's right, Cubano. That's right. Go down there and get that good sandwich. Evelyn, getting those sunshine rays while we're cold in Canada. Boo! I saw the pictures of you and baby Candace in the pool. So much fun and so nice. A vacation for the great Granny swag. We love you so much, Granny Evelyn. We love you, the Granny of the Raptor Freak family. Oh my gosh, Granny. What a great night last night. I hope you got to watch it, even though you were over in Cuba right now. So safe travels. Enjoy your holiday. That's right. That's what I have to say to that. Naco the Nacho is in the house from Mississauga. The 905er is here. Let's see what Gerald's saying. I thought Mogbo was more of a let's make Scotty happy pick at that time. Now I think he's on par, if not a little better than Precious, and will only get better. Scotty, Mogbo, and Shed were our best. There were a lot of good players last night, though. But yeah, this is interesting. In some ways, this isn't no Bron pick to help Scotty or make him happy. Is this a Thonis and a Compto pick? No. Not when my man's out there running around like Dennis Rodman, getting after it with the hustle, the rebounds, the glue game, the everything stuffing all over the place. Jonathan Mogbo, whoa. People are like, open their eyes. It's like maybe the Raptors got a steal in the first pick of the second round and Jonathan Mogbo. Yeah. You think that this was just let's make Scotty happy. No, this guy came to play, and he's playing tough, and he's playing right, man. I love it. In some ways, Jonathan on the down low is a historic player, guys. He's the first player ever picked on the second night of a draft in the NBA. The first time they ever did 2 nights of the draft, and Jonathan's name was called first ever. So in some ways, that's illustrious. That is something kind of cool, you know? In some ways, Jonathan's taking this very seriously. I have to give him a lot of credit for the way he's carrying himself at this point, because it doesn't feel like he's just started his NBA career. In some ways, he's out there playing like he's been around for a little bit. And then the other thing about it is that, wow, he is just getting after it. Like when I compared him to my favorite player of all time, Dennis Rodman, that is not a stretch. That dude was all over the place doing crazy shit. Like some of it was like tipping the ball a lot. Him and Jakob like to tip the ball back out to our other guys. Like they don't get the full rebound, but they tip it, and hopefully somebody's hustling to get it cleaned up. But yeah, super impressed with Jonathan. And that stat line he had last night was very, very good. In fact, I'm very, very happy with him. It's very, very good. You know, it's weird you're comparing him to Precious because in some ways that's fair. They've been mistaken for each other in the past just by how they look. But in some ways, he's not the same player as Precious, for sure. And in some ways, there's a couple of things that he does. Maybe Precious is a little bit more this and this as far as strong and athletic. But Jonathan may be a little bit more with it and a wise and cerebral. than Precious. So there's a little bit of a trade-off for athleticism, for like wisdom, and maybe just kind of a smart decision making. So that's kind of an interesting kind of thing because there are a lot of comparisons there. We're going to talk about Shed today too. Don't worry, Nako, for sure. Trevor J is here, Commissioner Fun. We all have a past. We have all made choices that maybe weren't the best ones. None of us are completely innocent, but we all get a fresh start every day to be a better person than we were yesterday. I love this. This is great. Every day you get to the blessing of waking up to another day. You have a chance to complete your rough draft that's called your life and make it a better edition. You know, erase a little bit apart there or change a little part there and start over in some ways. You can do things to change your life every single day. And over time, you may see some very dramatic results. So, Trevor J, thank you. And you're every day you show up, man. Trevor, you are just like that for me, man. I appreciate you for it. Trevor's saying Raptors bench showed up big time for this win. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I was hoping this could happen. You know, I kind of saw it yesterday morning. I was like, you know, they look soft. They look weak. And dare I say, the Philadelphia 76ers miss Tobias Harris. That is crazy, isn't it? They were dubbing on him all this time. And you know what? He would have been a big difference for them last night. I'm not going to lie. Not only with his length and the way that his versatile play is, he's the kind of player in this kind of game, he would step up in the place of Joel and Paul George and do some things to help Maxey. They just didn't have that. Oubre, to an extent, was doing that for them and helping them. But, man, I'm going to say this right now. Sixers missed Tobias Harris. Not going to lie. And I think that this is the weird thing. I thought they improved their team in the offseason, but I don't think they did. I think this team's worse than last year. And I think it's players like Harris gone and also players like DeAnthony Melton and other players that they let go and went to other places. Like, didn't they have Buddy Hield for a while too last year? Yeah, they fucked up. I'm serious. There's some really good players they had last year, and they changed things over. Yabusele's interesting. I love seeing him back in the NBA. He deserves it. And in some ways, it's kind of funny to see the big butts of Lowry and Yabusele on the same team right now. They're kind of the same kind of player at different positions. But yeah, this new look Sixers is small. And the Raptors were very smart to get Drummond in foul trouble right away. If that was a very deliberate thing by Darko, directing Jakob to take it to him and put 2 fouls on him right away, that was a huge game changer. Because as soon as Andre Drummond sat down, Scottie and Jakob were able to dominate the Sixers in ways that they couldn't do jack shit about. In some ways, I know Nick Nurse was pissed off. And like, listen, this is not the start to the season the Sixers wanted. Y'all thought you could get away with benching Joel Embiid without even playing at all in the season? Well, you're getting what you get. 0-2 start, Sixers. And yeah, Sixers Nation's talking shit about Nick Nurse this morning and saying, "Ooh, Nick Nurse this, Nick Nurse that." That's interesting. They're turning on their beloved coach all of a sudden. Woo! Let's go, Raptors freaks. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. See, Nako saying congrats on 1K. Thank you, Gerald. I appreciate y'all for helping me get to this. Yesterday was a glorious day. I will always remember October the 25th, 2024, because that's the day the Raptor Street got to 1,000 subscriptions on his YouTube channel. And the Raptors turned around and beat their former coach, Nick Nurse, and Kyle Lowry, and gave Darko that sweet, illustrious W. And they brought the chain back. The chain's got a new spinny thing on it with a 30th anniversary logo on it, which is kind of cool. And of course, our guy Scott got the first one of the year. And this is very much, very, very apropos. Scotty is right. It's weird. You know, Nick, after the game, said this. He said, "I saw how Scotty played in the opening game, and I was totally knowing he was going to come out here and kill us." Because he knows, because he coached Scott for a few years, and he understands when Scott has a bad game, he's pissed at himself, and he comes back with a vengeance. And, well, he was bracing for it. He knew this guy was going to come into this game and play at a high level, but he couldn't do nothing about it to stop it. That's the thing about Scott. When he's going into the lane and he's taking those high percentage shots, and as Nick put it, he likes to shoot over people. Yeah, he's very tough to stop. That one of the big differences between this game and Cleveland is that, you know, other than Drummond, who really is a grounded big man, he's not somebody who jumps. You know, we had to deal with Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley with that length, and that was really stymieing everything down low between Scotty and Yak. So Cleveland is a recipe that we're going to have to figure out. as far as how they do things over the season. But Philadelphia, with a smaller team, well, we bullied them and we dominated them. And honestly, I love the way Scott is getting to the basket and dunking it so much. It's so good. And I love that he's not settling. Like, how many threes did Scott take last night? I think he took like one attempt from three, really, basically. I mean, I'll go look at it. Let me just look at it real quick. I think he took like one attempt from three, and that's it. He took two. That's it. That's amazing. In some ways, that says a lot. And Nick was even commenting after the game that Scotty got 27 points on 11 shots. So he did really good. So, yeah, it's very interesting to hear our former coach comment about why they lost last night and talking about, Scotty Barnes in some ways. In some ways, I love doing that. I love that. I love that. To see the pain on Nick's face as far as like feeling this from that. Yeah, that's awesome. That's just an awesome thing in a couple different ways. That's right. Trevor saying Nick Nurse says the Raptors outplayed them and they're a little faster. The Sixers were not ready for that work. I think in some ways, the work we put in this summer really shows now, because exactly what we were hoping would happen is we're jumping out on teams that are kind of easing into the season and maybe not very much going yet, but being in Malaga, Spain at the sanctuary and going to South Beach and doing all the work we did preseason before everything is showing up right now. And it's like the Sixers haven't even gotten through training camp yet, is the way they're looking like, the way they're working, and the way they're connecting. And I love that. That's so awesome. In some ways, it may be easier for us to play teams that have newer casts like the Sixers than playing teams like the Cavs, who had their basic unit intact from last year. So that was kind of one of the things that was actually helping us too, because both teams kind of weren't totally familiar with each other. Whether we're making turnovers because we're not making passes connect, they were doing the same thing at times too. So that it was an awesome game. I love that game last night. I seriously do. I'm so glad we got a win and we're 1-1 today. That's right. That's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah, Cowboys here. Let's go. Good morning, Lex, Granny Swag, and Raptor Freaks. Entertained? Are you not entertained? Let's go, Coach Darko. That's right, Cowboy. That's right, Cowboy. Woo, Darko, you're a badass. And in some ways, we saw some really good coaching from Coach Darko once again. If y'all are going to come and talk about how much you hate him in other places, you got to talk about the good things when the good things show. And this man coached his team through weathering through Nick Nurse's diabolical defensive schemes late in the game, keeping them calm and sorted out, and getting things done the right way. Darko involved with the refs very much. That, this shows the passion and how much he's got Scott's back. When Scotty gets a technical from Tony Brothers, and then a couple minutes later, Pat Freyer's throwing a technical at Darko. We got to remember, Pat Freyer is the referee who has the balls to give technicals to LeBron James and actually even throw him out. So I like Pat Freyer a lot, because in some ways, even though he gave us a couple technicals there in the middle of the game, he's a no-nonsense guy. He's a nice man, and he's a very good ref. But if you talk disrespectful to the refs, he doesn't give a shit if you're the face of the league like LeBron James. He will give you a technical. And in some ways, I love Darko getting the second technical, even if there was a little bit of a period where the Sixers came back after that. Because he's showing solidarity with our face of the franchise and saying, Scotty's going to get a technical for arguing. Well, I'm going to reinforce what he's arguing, and I'll go at them the same way, and I will get a technical also. In some ways, that shows real support for his face of the franchise. And, there were other stuff we saw, like him talking to Tony Brothers late in the game and very much having a very animated discussion. Tony Brothers is a joyful referee, and he has a lot of very good friendships with a lot of the players in the league. In fact, we saw him very, very happy to see Davion Mitchell before the game and pre-game, like dapping each other and hugging with big, huge smiles. But then you see him also goofing around with Kyle Lowry and other people like that around the league. So, Tony Brothers really is a player's referee. And if you can be dudes and buddies with him, you're good. You're good. But yeah, that was awesome. And listen, anybody who thinks that Scott has a problem with Darko, look at the way he dapped up and hugged Darko near the end of the game when they were coming out, when they were looking like they were going to win the game. That is a very physical evidence of the superstar on our team, very, very excited and trusting in our coach's mastermind coaching ways. And feeling the results of it. In some ways, Scotty and Jonathan had a dream game last night, a dream game that they dreamt about in pajamas in front of a TV, playing video games and eating cereal or whatever they like to do when they were little kids. They got to do a dream last night where they got to be a tag team against the Sixers of all teams and kick their ass. The storied history of the Sixers and the Raptors got a new chapter last night, and it's a beautiful one for our side. Yeah, there you go, baby. Let's go. Are you not entertained? Yes, Cowboy. I am. I am. That's right. Cowboy saying, and big up yourself, Masai, Draft King. Yeah. Woo, woo. Listen, the future's so bright. Where's my glasses here? Right. All right. Here we go. Our rookies are something else. I'll tell you what, in some ways, they are something else. I can't wait to see Jacoby Walter get out there because I know he's going to be special, just like these other 4 guys we've seen so far. Now, Shamshe is a long-term layaway, going to get there someday. But yeah, we you don't rush Shamshe, and he gets to sit him there and soak it all in. I'm sure at some points last night, Juric was like, man, I'd like to beat Joel Embiid's team. And well, you did, Juric. That's right. Cameroonian versus Cameroonian, both on the benches. Well, Prince, you have beat the big dummy. Yeah, Will Smith, Frankenstein. Yeah, and the first time you have officially gone against him, even if you didn't play, that's still the way it is, Cameroonian. That's right. You beat the turncoat that played for USA this summer. That's right. There you go. You're rich. Yeah, we could talk about the 3 guys that actually played last night. They're all badasses. If you ask me, Jamal Shed, Jonathan Mogbo, Jamison Battle, the 3J rookies out there doing different things in different ways to help the Raptors be badasses. And man, oh my gosh. And just like Jack and Matt said last night, isn't it so nice to have a plethora of great backup point guards? Oh my gosh. We have 4 good point guards all of a sudden. Instead of having the starting point guard and Malachi Flynn, we've got 4 bona fide badass point guards. And, you know, it was such a luxury for the Raptors to have at late in the game to plug in a fresh DJ Carton to go on Tyrese Maxey in the second half, where he is absolutely blasted tired. And then all of a sudden you got a fresh DJ Carton out there playing methodically, controlled, and very, very smart within his game to help the Raptors, not trying to score too much, playing within himself and doing all the right decisions and keeping control in some ways. Man, DJ Carton, I love you, man. I'm so impressed with him. And besides the rookies, think about the fact that we've got great young players that are in their second or third year, like Oshai Abaji, Grady Dick, and DJ Carton. It's just very much a luxury. This bench is for real, and I love it. I love it. In some ways, they're going to have trouble against veteran teams that know what they're doing. There's going to be miscalculations and passes and turnovers because this team is green, but it is very, very promising. And, you know, with people like Shed who play above like their years experience because of the way they are in their player build, you know, this team could get better faster than the normal rebuilding team because Mogbo is advanced. I mean, the stuff he's doing out there last night, you wouldn't have known this was his second ever NBA game ever. That's very interesting right there. Very, 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 very interesting. Yeah, let's keep going. Cowboys Senate. What battle that was a southpaw. Yeah, Battle was very interesting. The thing that's exciting about Jamison Battle right now is much like Grady Dick, he's been pigeonholed as just a three-point shooter. No, don't get it twisted. This guy's actually in there fighting for rebounds, and he's also doing very good defensive stuff too. I like that one play where our guard knocked the ball out of there, and he was self-aware enough to chase after it and get a transition fast break opportunity. And, Jamison Battle is making me go, wow, with blocks and big time fighting in there for rebounds and just being an active hustling player. In his interview after the game, he's like, look, I have a confidence in myself. I don't care about the coach having a confidence in me. I don't care about other players. I have to believe in myself for myself. And that's why I am the way I am. And I love it. I mean, that 1-3 he made at the end of the shot clock was not easy. He shot it off balance and he shot it at such a crazy, weird high arc, but it went in. And that's the sign of a real, true sniper, sharpshooter. And man, Jamison Battle, it was so the right decision in training camp. Y'all motherfuckers that wanted Brendan Carlson, you crazy. Jamison Battle is way, way NBA ready. And in some ways, this dude is come out of nowhere. And I love that kind of story because he wasn't supposed to be on our team this year, but I am so glad he is. I'm so glad he is. Oh my gosh. G saying, wow, Mogbo does it all. Scotty was being Scotty. Boucher was a spark plug. Davion set the tone. Shed is a dog. Battle was battling. Yeah. All of this stuff it was glorious. And Boucher, he didn't have the best stat line, but he was taking knocks. He was being very physical and he was getting there, sacrificing his body. And because of that, when they had the chain ceremony in the dressing room afterwards, he got recognized by Darko before he gave the chain to Scotty. He said, CB, you did some amazing things out there. So I love getting the insight from open gym segments showing Darko how he talks to the team. And well, he was recognizing Chris for what the sacrifice he was doing physically out there. I mean, there was a point where Chris hit the floor, very reminiscent, just like Manuel's injury in the other game, that, man, I was scared for him. But he seemed to land on his side and rolled around, and he seemed to take the impact more with the length of his body and then one spot where he really hit somewhere. So he knew how to fall correctly. But these are the kind of moments we get a little scared. And like there was a moment where Scott knee knocked somebody and he looked like he was a little hobbled. Yeah, we're all holding our breath because of the way this season's starting. As somebody said, we're snake bitten with injuries. Fuck that. We're going to kill that snake. Go get the mongoose is what I'm saying about that. That's right. We ain't got no snake bittens. No damn snakes on this plane. That's right. Fuck that. G saying Yak was steady and Carton was facilitating. Great team win. Everybody contribute. All right, I'm going to do my 5 stars of the game because you brought up Jakob because he's my number 1 star, guys. I would have put Scott in there, but listen, I have to talk about Jakob real quick because honestly, Jakob was doing some dominant things last night, and he really did bounce back from the first game in a major way. He shot 5 for 8. He was 9 of 11 at the free throw line. In some ways, I wanted to give him credit just for doing so well at the free throw line in this game. Like, seriously, we know about the struggles that Pirtle has had at the free throw line, and going 9 of 11 last night was huge in this game. Huge in this game. 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 blocks. And this is the thing. Jakob was block up last night, and some of the blocks were off the chain. We had a block party on a Friday night at Scotiabank Arena, and Bruno Fernando and Scotty and Chris and Jakob were all over them blocks. And Jakob was the leader with 4 blocks last night. I love that so much. So 19 points, a +7. Yeah, I made Pirtle my number 1 star last night, partly because he looked so bad in the last game. And then tonight, wow, he was just night and day, and he really did dominate once Drummond got taken out of the game. He was doing whatever the hell he wanted to. They couldn't stop us in the paint, whether it was Scotty or Jakob. Of course, Scotty is the other star of the game. I could have made either one. Honestly, I should say number 1 stars of the game between Barnes and Pirtle. Scotty, 8 of 11, shooting so much better than in the last game, the first game. 11 of 13 at the free throw line, so he's fantastic there too. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 4 turnovers, 27 points for Big Scott. And you know what? This is the thing, Scotty, you did what you're supposed to do on any given night. You have to be the best player out there. You outplayed Tyrese Maxey. You were the superstar, the face of the NBA in the game last night, and you showed it. And some of this overpowering stuff, I love how you go straight the hoop and you're getting dunks. You're going around people. You're just gliding through. There was that one play where you and Mogbo came in transition, and you had the ball. You gave it to Mogbo, and then Mogbo was ahead of you, and he dropped it off to you, and you full strided down the lane and threw it down on them. And I love that so much. And thank you for going inside. Thank you for not shying away from contact. Thank you for not taking transition threes without moving the ball around. Thank you for working the ball inside, taking the high percentage shots. And the other thing I love really a lot about what Barnes did last night is that he took his time. That in times when he was down low, he was able to really make sure that he was going to execute and make the shot. And that's taking his time. And some ways you can see Fernando flub Bunny near the basket, but that's because he's rushing or he hears the footsteps. And he's like, oh, I got to get this up real quick. Well, Scotty, he's so measured and confident around the basket with his strong hands around the ball. Nobody's going to strip me. And in some ways, nobody's going to block me. And I am going to go up and I'm going to make the shot. And in some ways, he was taking his time. And that shows a lot of maturity and a lot of confidence that he was doing that. So Scotty, just badass all kinds of different ways in the game last night. The 3rd star of the game for me last night is Mogbo. Mogbo didn't shoot the best, but honestly, the fact that he got 12 points last night is huge. In some ways, he got robbed of a double-double. And they talked about it after the game, Scotty pointing up to the scoreboard in the interview with Kayla Gray saying, wait, he had 10 rebounds. They took one away from him? That's messed up. And in some ways, that's Scotty showing that, yeah, he knows what he's up against being on the Raptors. They're going to shortchange us and do different things like that. Well, Jonathan, next time get 11 rebounds, even if they take one away, you still got that double-double is what I'm going to say. Yeah, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Stat stuffing. Jonathan Mogbo, the 31st pick in the draft this year. And other people like the rookies this year are not doing very well so far to start the season. Well, come to Toronto and look at Shed and Mogbo and Battle, and you will see some rookies doing some good shit already this year. A plus 21. And that is the big stat that made me put him in the top 5, is because he was a plus 21, the highest plus minus on the Raptors last night. There were certain players that really had a huge impact on helping us outscore the Sixers, and Jonathan Mogbo and DJ Carton were number 1 and number 2. They really, really did a lot. And Jonathan was just all over the place. We saw him getting after it. If there was a rebound going up, he was going in there to try and get his hand on it and get it tipped to somebody else. If he was hitting the floor, he was just, like I said, I saw shades of Dennis Rodman in the way that Mogbo was getting around last night. And I love Matt Devlin and Jack Armstrong comparing him to, is this guy kind of like a Siakam, a guy who is late and can be developed into something way more than he is right now? Because, Siakam in some ways came in with the same kind of vibes around him. When I saw him early on, he was just like a defensive and a rebounder kind of guy. I never thought that Siakam would get to the places he's gone to offensively like he has now. So I don't know, man. Jonathan, the future is so freaking bright, my guy. Because honestly, listen, this ain't no fluke. This kid from San Francisco is not just here to be Scotty's best friend, but he is Scotty's best friend, and that don't hurt. That don't hurt. All right, let's keep going with the stars of the game. Jamison Battles, my 4-star. He was 4 for 5 from the field, which is fantastic shooting. It's something Raptors need more. 2 or 3 from 3, 2 or 4 at the free throw line. The 2 missed free throws were a problem. He actually got to shoot a technical, and he missed it. I'm like, don't give the technical to Jamison if he's going to miss it. 6 rebounds for Jamison Battle. That's what I'm talking about, including 3 offensive, plus 4 with 12 points. Yeah, I just love the 4 of 5 shooting. This guy's money. This guy's measured. In some ways, him and Dick have a lot in common as far as their shooting prowess and how they look at that. And I think that it's really valuable to have these guys on there. We saw the Battle Dick formation once again, where both of them are on the court, and that happened in the first quarter. The fact that Jamison Battle is coming in the first quarter already is a really good sign that this dude is very dependable, and we can count on him, and he's not going to come out and shit the bed or look like he doesn't belong on an NBA court. And the fact that Battle and Dick are out there at the same time, that causes all kinds of great spacing opportunities for people like Scotty and Chris Boucher and other guys who may need to do some stuff. So I like the Battle Dick formation. That's the official words I'm going to call it when both Jamison and Grady are on the court at the same time. So Battle Dick formation in full effect in the first quarter. And it was helpful. My last star of the game for last night is Ochai Agbaji, guys. Honestly, Ochai did little things all kinds of different ways. Some of it wasn't pretty, as usual, but some of it was fantastic. And we got to see Kansas Ochai last night. And that's Kansas Ochai is streaking to the basket and laying the ball up with contact and going up over people. And that happened multiple times in the game. In fact, a lot of Oshai's baskets were passes and him streaking and cutting and going to the hoop. And I love that. That was so good. He was 5 of 9 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds for Ochai, including 3 offensive, 1 assist, 2 steals, a +1 with 12 points. And we got to give him credit also because he was doing a lot of good defensive things also as per usual. I mean, these guys did a good job with Maxey. I'm not going to lie. Maxey did not shoot a good percentage last night. He ended up shooting 6 of 23, 2 of 12 from 3. 24 points. They try to hype up before the game, Leo Routon specifically, that Tyrese Maxey loves to play in Scotiabank Arena and always has big games against us. Well, that may have been true before when we had people like Malachi Flynn running our backup guards, but not with Off Day and Jamal Shed around where we can lock up Tyrese Maxey in the shed. Yeah. That's what happened a bit last night. And we got a 3-man tag team, Freebirds. We get old DJ Carton out there also to get out there and give you some fresh work also, Tyrese Maxey. So that's a big part of it, man. Having such depth at point guard for the Raptors is a luxury at this point. And the fact that it's such young guys and they're so heady is so fun. It's so fun. So there's my 5 stars of the game right there. I mean, I could have picked a bunch of other guys too, honestly. DJ Carton, even though he didn't score a lot, he was fantastic last night, honestly. He was fantastic. Yeah, let's keep going, guys, with the chat. And I'll go over the rest of the Raptors in a little bit, and we'll all stats for sure. Yeah, it was awesome, man. Let's see. Bro, We got to talk about this one. Let's chop it up. That's my man, Nameless, my paisano. Arrivederci. Buongiorno. Yes, how are you doing, Nameless? My paisano. Let's chop it up. Chop it up. Choppy choppy. Yeah, let's see. There's so much to say. So much happened last night. I know. Isn't that true? It's so true. So lay it on me, Nameless. Let's hear what you want to say exactly about last night. I talk fast enough. In 3 hours, maybe I can say everything we need to say. If I talk fast enough, we'll see. Cowboys saying Chef Darko beat Nick Nurse and the refs. Yeah, I wouldn't even say the refs were against us, man. Tony Brothers was very fair last night. I think that Tony Brothers is fun, man. Honestly, I really do like Tony. The more and more I see how he interacts, and the way he's fair is the right way. In some ways, listen, my goal is not to hate the refs on this channel. My goal is to love the refs eventually, to understand them. And the more I understand each of them individually, they're just like people. There's good ones and bad ones. And honestly, I really do believe the NBA is trying to do things fairly. Now, there may be important games like a game 5 in the WNBA finals where they want to script write certain things. But if you're not involved in those kind of games, you can get a very fairly called down the middle kind of game. It's just the problem is when we get into playoffs or we get into big games that are marquee, like in-season tournament, they may try and script right. And that's where the danger is. But when it's a neutral kind of game where it's like, yeah, y'all just go out and play and we have a fair shake to win, it's not a complete crap, then I actually really do feel like the NBA refs are very good at their job. It's a very, very hard job to do. And to be able to do it is like, it's tough. But yeah, there's some really shitty refs like Coolgut and Scott Foster. But, there are also refs that I have a lot of respect for, like Tony Brothers. And I can't say that they were against us because there were some makeup calls last night. We saw at one point Scotty got dragged his pivot foot and he got called for a travel by the rookie ref, Tyler Merkovich. And that's the right call. Tyler made the right call. Scotty did move his pivot. And he did travel in that moment. But what did Tony Brothers do? On the other end of the court, he called a palming call on Caleb Martin. And in some ways, that's a call you can call all the time in the NBA. Well, what did Tony Brothers do? He did a classic makeup. And this is something that NBA refs have done for decades. It's something I was used to when I was a kid. It's like, okay, if the call's kind of sketchy at one end, well, they'll do another sketchy call and they'll just give possession back to the team. And there were at least 2 or 3 makeup calls called last night, which switched the ball possession back to somebody all of a sudden. You pay attention, you'll see that. And that palming by Caleb Martin, yeah, they could call that all the time. But they decided to call it because they wanted to make up for Tyler Merkovich's rookie ref call of the drag pivot foot for Scotty Barnes. And that's Tony Brothers doing a solid for us. So I can't say that the refs were against us because honestly, that's part of why they do those makeup calls is call things both ways. And I think they were very good. Pat Frere, once again, he's a no-nonsense guy. He'll give technicals to people that are disrespectful to the refs. And Tony Brothers, he rewards hard work. And in some ways, we definitely outworked the Sixers last night. They were lazy. They were undersized. They were not ready. And I don't think this team's going to win anything this year, honestly. And it could very well be that Nick Nurse is in the hot seat because this year is not going to be anywhere near as successful as last year. In some ways, I could even say that if the Raptors get healthy and we do a lot of good things this year, we may end up above the Sixers in the Atlantic Division, guys. Don't get it twisted. That may have sounded crazy a month ago, but I'm not lying. Seriously, I could see this because I think there's way more problems on the Sixers than it seems. You could tell because if you looked at the bench, first of all, you see Big Dummy Joel sitting all high and mighty on his throne with that double cushion. And he's like not engaged in the game. And he's kind of looking like he's upset. And then you see Paul George and he looks like he's crying almost. Like, I don't understand Paul George. Paul George goes from team to team and he just has failure and injuries around him all the time. So maybe he's like, oh, damn, I thought that this Philadelphia thing would be a new start, fresh start, but it feels even worse than the Clippers. Do you think that the Sixers look happy on their bench? No. And maybe the vibes are right for the Raptors because we did so much work and getting connected. And meanwhile, the Sixers are not connected. And they seem like they're all weird. As Nick Nurse said before the game, he loves having Kyle Lowry on this team, but Kyle gets moody. And right now, he's been very moody right now. That's another canary in the coal mine, that things are not right, that Kyle Lowry is not happy around the Sixers. He should be very happy because he's in the NBA and doing stuff. But why is he moody? He gets moody because other people are acting like idiots. It could very well be that there's personality conflicts already with Paul George on this team and some of the people who are on that team already. So yeah, something's wrong in Philadelphia. Something's seriously wrong there. And the faces on the bench, even while they had a chance to win, they look defeated and sad and depressed already. Something's wrong. I'm telling you, something's wrong there. And yeah, don't be shocked if we end up above them by the end of the year and record. Seriously. Some people say you're crazy, Lex. They're going to get Joel back and do way better when he comes back. Yeah, that might be right. But there's no guarantees in this league. And you could see Nick Nurse running Joel into the ground very quickly. And he misses a big chunk of the season. Yeah, they're not very good when it's Maxey just trying to do it all on his own. He needs that big man around to be his best self. Yeah. That's very interesting stuff about what's going on with the Sixers. Very, very interesting. Yeah, Nako's saying they told me it was a weak draft. It has looked like a weak draft. But this is what I told y'all. Forget about whether the draft's good or not. We don't give a shit. We're badasses. We got Masai and Bobby, and those dudes will get good players out of a shit draft. And honestly, this does look like a shit draft. You can say Sar, Rizacker, most of the guys who played, he fouled out in like a record time as one of the top players in this draft. None of the rookies have looked that good in this couple games so far this season. None of them. It's like people on Twitter are talking about it. It's like, have any of the rookies shown up and done anything this year? And they're like, tell me if there is. And people are writing in Jamal Shead. People are writing in Jamal Shead. Go look at him. I mean, because it's kind of true. But look at that. That's just how much we should value our front office. Because if this is a clunker of a draft class that's coming in this year, well, we got some gems already, and we haven't even started to see what Shamshay is going to be down the road. So I love our front office, and I'll fight to the end to keep Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster in their positions. And this is the reasoning and the why is like, look, listen, people are saying this draft class sucks. Well, we got Mogbo, Shed, and Battle somehow and all this, and we haven't even seen Walter. Oh my gosh, that's right. Name is saying, just wait until we see JKW, who's the real prize. You're talking about Walter right there. Just wait until we see Walter. I like his support. I like the way he's been doing things around the team. He has a very cool look. If we've got cowboy spice, we've got moody emo college student spice with Jacoby Walter and the look on there with the purple hoodie and the glasses on the bench last night. He's a very interesting young kid. I saw before the game that he was standing under the basket, even though he's injured and not dressed, rebounding for the team. That's not something normal for an injured player in the league to come in and do that, a rookie. He feels like he wants to be connected to the team. He can't play, he can't practice, but he can stand under the basket and rebound and give the ball back to the other guys, even though we have ball boys and personnel for our team that do that. That's a very interesting thing. I've never seen that before, where a player that's hurt is going to rebound for the team and shoot around before the game. And I think that it's very valuable that he's most of the time sitting next to Garrett Temple on the bench. So it's very interesting. Jacoby's engaged, and he's very proud of being a Raptor already. I can tell. And I'm excited to see what's going to be going on. The real prize, as Nameless calls him. Yeah, G saying some Sixers fans are calling it the nursing home because he only plays his older players. Woo! Woo! What is that, Eric Flynn? Where's Eric Flynn? Your son's out of the league. Are you telling these people to call him Nick Nursery? Nick Nursery. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Listen, we did see some of the problems we had with Nick Nurse in the game last night. What happened last night was that they didn't get any bench points. This is kind of a calling card signature of Nick Nurse coaching strategy is you can be like playing the best players as the starters, but then your bench don't get no points at all because they got 19 points off the bench. Meanwhile, we got like 50 or 60 points off the bench from a whole bunch of different people. And that is what we say when we out-team them, because we had an overall better team and talent overall because their bench guys didn't do jack shit to help them coming off the bench. And I think that that's more symptomatic of Nick Nurse coaching philosophies and just not getting bench production. We know this from when he coached our team, that we would not get bench production before. And well, there you go. That's a Nick Nurse coaching calling card, Sixers fans that are watching me this morning. That is a Nick Nurse calling card. In some ways, I don't have a problem with him playing the older players. I think that in some ways you might need that with some of your younger players looking like knuckleheads. I mean, we shot for a hot minute Jarrett McCain out there. He barely did nothing. I mean, he didn't even do anything. I don't think he did. He had 4 minutes and 0 points and had 1 rebound and 1 assist. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's crazy to look at this box score. Yabusele's an interesting player. 9 points, a +5, a big butt. And, he had that one dunk. but it's interesting. They're playing him at backup center. That's not going to fly, Nick. In some ways, it's like Nick Nurse may have input on how to craft the team too. And I think that some of the personnel changes they made this offseason, it did not improve their team. And in some ways, they're starting to look like how the Raptors mutated after the championship team into being like really weird. And I wondered back then whether Nick was shaping things with Masai and Bobby, and the team was just like getting into weird places, like when they were in Tampa and just after Tampa. And I'm wondering if this is similarly happening with them in Philadelphia. That if Nick Nurse is helping input with the front office and Daryl Morey on how to do the personnel changes, well, they did not do a good job shuffling their deck and bringing players here for this year. They lost some very key players from last year that helped their depth and their strength. And honestly, I'm really worried for them in a good way because I'm a Raptors fan, because they are tied up in their salary with all these contracts, specifically Paul George, once again, being an albatross around the neck. Whether you had Tobias Harris, we'll just switch in Paul George in that spot as far as like taking up a bunch of cap space. They have no flexibility and they're stuck with this team. And if this team is not successful, well, it's a big, huge failure. I think it's funny seeing Joel Embiid sitting on the sideline process on it. I think that's so hilarious and douchey, honestly. Let's go look at the rest of the Raptors real quick. Besides them, Off Day was out there being a fantastic guy. Listen, our guards are fun. We have real point guards. And the thing I love about our guards is they're very steady. If there's something like a problem where they break down on the other side, they are executing and taking it to them to the hoop. And that we saw that from Shed and Davion Mitchell last night, where it's like they read the defense, and if they get an opening, they're going to take it in there and hoop up a nice layup over people or a floater. And I love that. And it was nice to see Davion hit 2 threes last night. They were very much in rhythm. A 3-for-5 shot. He could have been one of my stars of the game, honestly. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, +5 with 8 points. I thought Mitchell was fantastic. And, him being a starter for us in the place of Manuel Quickley is fine. And some days he's not going to try and shoot as much as Emmanuel, and other guys will get to eat more. But the thing is, these guys are real point guards. They really are trying out to be out there to help the other teammates do better. You can see it the way they pass to other people, whether it's Shed, Carton, or Mitchell. And that's something I've been thirsting for years in the years of Malachi Flynn, because you can see the difference now that I'm talking about. As far as you give a silver platter to your teammates so that they can be successful in execution. And man, Malachi Flynn was horrible at setting up his teammates for making their shots. Meanwhile, Davion Mitchell, Jamal Shed, DJ Carton, they're making their guys get successful, easy shots because they're passing it to them the right way. And that's the thing I love about these guys. Grady Dick had a bad shooting night, and he didn't have a lot of points, but honestly, it's weird. He was very good still. He did very good, interesting things. He had a couple of threes that were very important. Well, 1 3, that 1 3 that got passed out to him. 3 of 9 from the field, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 8 points. It was just a quiet night for Dick, but we got the win anyway, baby. And in some ways, Battle is kind of like secondary Dick on the team. And he showed up and did more for us. Chris Boucher, as I said, had a physical game. He didn't make any of his shots, 0 for 5 with 4 points at the line. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, but 4 blocks for Chris. And some of those blocks were awesome. I mean, seriously, that block on Yabusele that Chris Boucher did was so good. And the blocks were just so much fun. I mean, it really was fun to see Block Up and Chris and even Fernando's block. And Scotty had a nice block too. But yeah, it was just really fun to have a block party last night. Fernando had a tough night. He was only out there for 8 minutes. But hey, in 8 minutes, he grabbed 6 rebounds. He had 1 block and only 2 points. But listen, once again, we don't need Bruno Fernando to play absolutely perfect. We need him to be out there as a physical presence, fighting for rebounds and matching the strength and size of other teams. And that is absolutely necessary. In some ways, you can see that how much the Sixers struggle with such a thin front line up front. And that's another thing team trying to play small and get away with stuff with smaller players, and then a big team beat your ass because they're bigger and they're blocking you and they're getting all the rebounds. In fact, we almost doubled them up on rebounds last night, guys. We almost doubled their amount of rebounds. Garrett Temple came in for a hot cup of coffee near the end of the first half. Not really much to say. Jamal Shed, 4 of 11 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. I loved seeing him hit a 3. 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. He did have 7 turnovers, and that's something that Jamal's got to figure out. He's got to rein that in. He understands that. He did it again last night. This is 2 games in the season so far where he's passing to somebody and he loses the handle of it and it lofts off and goes up too high and out of bounds. In some ways, this is something he's got to rein in. And I know he knows that, and he'll figure it out. But yeah, 7 turnovers by Jamal was a problem. But that's also indicative of him being a rookie. And these guys are green. And all the turnovers, we won a game with 27 turnovers. That's amazing. The fact that we won this game and we had committed 27 turnovers is kind of really cool in some ways. Then DJ Carton, once again, he didn't score anything, but he had a very strong, calming, controlling presence. And he's very methodical and very smart. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. If 7 turnovers happen with Shed, Carton only had 1 in 16 minutes. 0 for 3, 0 for 2 from 3, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 0 points, but a plus 17. And that's the thing. Carton was out there late in the game when the Sixers were really trying to figure out how to beat us and come back. And Carton was helping to keep us ahead of them with the score, even if he wasn't scoring himself. And it's being a floor general. It's controlling the pace, and it's controlling the ball in a safe way so that we're not causing too many turnovers. And I like that different look between those 3 backup point guards. In some ways, Davion Mitchell gives you a certain flavor. Jamal Shedd's going to give you a certain flavor. And Carton has a whole other flavor to himself. They're not at all the same. In some ways, Mitchell and Shed are a bit same, but Carton's a totally different flavor. It's too bad we didn't see Prince Shamshay, but the game was a little bit too in play, and they couldn't afford to put Ulrich in the game. Yeah, very, very cool game last night. I very much enjoyed it. Yeah. This is Nameless is saying Embiid getting that Kawhi treatment. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in some ways, Nick, do you regret not playing Joel last night? And I was wrong. I thought they wouldn't come to Canada, but I forgot. The nightlife in Toronto is so nice. Paul George and Joel are going to want to show up and go to some clubs and maybe get a nice fancy dinner downtown at Coda or something like some restaurant down there, like History or something. That's right. Jimmy Pope is in the house, the Pope of positivity. That's right, Jimmy. How you doing, man? Very positive day today. Mobo solidified his spot in the rotation, and I want all Bruno's minutes going to him. Big dubs. Let's carry some momentum into tonight. Well, they're different players. In some ways, we need both of them for diversification. In some ways, the strength and energy of Bruno Fernando has been impressive to me if he's not been perfect. So he's working very, very hard out there, and he's battling. And all the lumps that Chris Boucher took and hit to the ground, well, Bruno's taking them too. And in some ways, I love more warriors, big warriors in the battle for us. And Fernando has to be that. As much as Mobo's nice, and you think that he could just absorb Fernando's minutes, we need both of them. Because in some ways, we need a team of rebounders out there with Pirtle and Boucher and Mobo and Fernando. And honestly, Bruno didn't play a whole lot last night. So Mobo did absorb a lot of Bruno's minutes that he might have possibly gotten because he played a very steady, strong game for his second game ever in his NBA career. Then Darko didn't call Bruno's number as much late in the game. So, what you're saying is naturally happening. But let's not say, oh, Bruno shouldn't play at all. Because honestly, he has 6 fouls, and they can be very helpful. They can be very helpful. Trevor's saying, to all the people who give up on the first game, miss out on a beautiful game. That's exactly right. This is the in the past. Don't go by one game like the opening night and then say, okay, I'm not watching them this year. Because a lot of people probably did that. My friend Ken, who has season tickets, he's like, man, this is going to be a long year, Lexi. After that first game, I'm going to be trying to sell my tickets. In fact, he offered me tickets for the Denver game on Monday at a very cut rate price because in some ways, having those season tickets, he likes to sell them. And when the season's not going so good and the team seems like it's going to be bad, he has to really work to unload the tickets for any kind of profit. Well, I probably will take Ken up on his tickets at some point this season. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. It's night and day. And once again, we don't want to get too crazy and happy and think, oh, now we're going to be a winning team this year. No, it will be somewhere in between what happened on the first game and last night. And hopefully there'll be enough W's. But yeah, that was awesome last night. They miss out when they don't stay with their team, ride or die. That's right. Nameless is saying if Jacoby Walter, let's see, hang on, it jumped ahead. I love seeing y'all fill it up like crazy. There's so much to talk about. And I don't mind. We'll do about 3 hours today just because I know that you guys are excited and we want to make sure everybody is heard in the stream. So let me see. Whoa, we are way down here. I got to make sure I get to the next place where we were. Boom, 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 boom. All right, we're right here. If Jacoby Walter had any doubts about playing in Toronto on draft night, he must have been licking his chops watching his colleagues play last night. This is great. Like, we see RJ and Emmanuel on the bench too. RJ in particular, getting up out of his seat and rooting for the team and looking very, very excited. That shows Barrett's competitiveness and loving what he was seeing out there. Yeah, it's very, very cool. There was a lot of nostalgia in this game. In some ways, it's weird, seeing Nick on the other side and with Kyle, because there's such a foundational part of our history with what they did for us. And I've seen them in the other jerseys on the other side. It's a little bizarre. I love seeing them honor Kyle Lowry on the 30th anniversary season for his franchise leader stuff, as far as being the leader in three-pointers and steals and so many other categories. The one category, and this was brought up by Krathika of TSN Stats yesterday on her Twitter, that is in danger, that could possibly go away from Kyle, is the triple doubles. We know Kyle has like 15 triple doubles as a Raptor. When Scotty's got 5 right now, Scotty could easily pass Kyle Lowry on that triple double sheet in the next 2 years, honestly. So it's very interesting. Some of the records that Kyle has for our franchise are pretty untouchable right now. Somebody could get to them at some point. But yeah, I love that. And it's so classy. And once again, Kyle embraces his Toronto roots, even though he's very much on enemy's side. And we love him so much. And it's undeniable. He gets a huge cheer from our crowd. And he gets, people love him still. And, man, I love the interviews before the game talking about retiring Vince's jersey before him, that they had actually consulted whether they should retire Vince before him. And he said, no, you guys should do it. That's very interesting to me, that the MLSE and Masai Ujiri and them had the respect for Kyle, that they would go and ask him about retiring Vince's jersey before him. And he's like, no, that's the right thing to do. You guys should retire Vince before me. In some ways, that makes us feel way better about doing this for Vince first. And I really am starting to warm up to Vince Carter. In some ways, I wish Vince had been calling the game last night, because it would have been very interesting with his history in the series against Allen Iverson and the Sixers. And hearing him call the game last night in a win would have been a lot of fun. I want to bring this up also. We wore red jerseys last night, and you can see the difference. I'm going to say this right now. I'm keeping track of our record when we wear purple jerseys. And Purple Fever people, yeah, you may be put on notice at one point. It feels so much more right to be wearing this one, y'all. And I'm sorry, y'all can be all nostalgic. I love the color purple, but it's not right for our winning percentage. Just trust me on this. Seriously. Yeah. Truest thing you ever wrote. Yeah, all right. Jacoby Walter, get healthy and get out there. Now, Nako's saying the T-Wolves are definitely better than the Sixers, probably better than the healthy Sixers. I don't know about that. I don't know about any of that. I'm going to say this. The Timberwolves are a little bit like the Cavs, an established team that has height, that's very dangerous. We know Gobert's going to be hard to go around. But also, they have 2 new players that are very key in Randall and DiVincenzo. So there is an orientation going on with new players, and there could be a little bit of shakiness as far as melding and fitting together, even though they looked so good in their last game. Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle picked their spots and did such a good job in their last game against Sacramento. But it doesn't mean they're going to have it right tonight. And I'm hoping that our coach, Rajakovic, has a really good plan to kind of put a monkey wrench into it and mess them up a little bit. So on any given night, we don't know what the energy or the feel of the teams coming in. Of course, we just traveled. We're on a back-to-back, and we did output a lot of energy last night to beat the Sixers, and rightfully so. I love it. But this will be a real test for the Raptors. Can you duplicate the great energy and getting after it that you had against the Sixers last night on a travel back-to-back in Minnesota now tonight? That'll be something that's really fun. In some ways, I'll say yes, because we have a very young team that's energetic and just starting off their career. In some ways, it's not like Jamal Shedd's going to be dead tired after this. He's anxious to get back out there and put some more work in, I'm sure. Yeah, so we're going to have to see. We'll have to see. I'm not going to say anything about how the Timberwolves are versus the Sixers or the Cavs at all, because I don't know. We got to see them first. That's right. Cool Cat is here. Good morning, Raptor Freak Crew. Started early, huh? Yeah, it's a game day, Cool Cat. That's how it is. I like to get the spot early. And 9:20 was the start time today. And we have a lot to do today. I mean, it's a reaction and a preview. This is the first one of the season. Double duty. Raptors free. Lexathon, 3 hours is coming up right now. We've got 1 hour down, 2 more to go. Let's go. Cowboys saying 3-1. That's what you think, man. So we got to win tonight, and then we got to beat Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets in Toronto on Monday to get that 3-1. Well, one step at a time. Stay in the now and go forward, and let's go get Minnesota tonight. That's right. The schedule is not so tough and scary when you compartmentalize it and break it down and take it step by step. That's what I want to say right there. Gaz is saying good morning. Good morning to you, trucker. It's Saturday, so he is off the road and at home. Good to see Kaz in the chat. Cowboy saying, who was wearing the teddy on his pants? I don't know who that guy was. He looked like some sort of rapper. He had a bunch of little stuffed animals all over his pants. That was weird. And the little girl sitting next to him during the game was like playing with the toys during the game. It's like they're on Velcro. It's like, Daddy, can I play with this one now? Okay, here, honey, little teddy bear and little elephant. And she was doing little like plays with the little animals in the middle of the game last night. Those pants were very distracting. The other thing was very distracting is there's a very rich old man that sits next to the Raptors bench, and his wife came to the game last night. It was very strange. She had a newspaper. And Trevor and I were talking about that before the game. We were watching the pregame, and I'm like, what the fuck? I see a newspaper in the crowd. It's like weird. I thought everybody just got their news from online now, and this person actually gets a newspaper still. So that was kind of weird to see a newspaper at sideline. See, Raptors Freak seeing everything. I was like, what the fuck? That lady has a newspaper at the court side. That's so weird, man. That's so weird, man. 10-4, good buddy. That's right. Truckers on the home front right now. Fiercey is here. Our lady in Ottawa. We love MJ. Good morning, fam, and happy Saturday. Mitchell guarded Maxey well overall. Scotty went off. Jakob extremely solid. Shed amazing. Grady explosive. And Bozo and PG looking good on the bench. Looking sad and forlorn, honestly. Like Paul George didn't look like he'd been crying. Seriously. Look at him. Seriously. Why the fuck are you so upset already? You just showed up in Philadelphia. You haven't even played for them, Paul George. And you're looking like 3 years in with Kawhi in LA already. What the fuck is going on in Philadelphia? There's something wrong down there. Keith Pompey, you better get on the beat and find out what the fuck is wrong with the Sixers, because there's something wrong with them. Seriously. Something wrong with them. For sure, something wrong with them. Oh my gosh. Maybe Nick Nurse's toxicity is so much involved in this already in his second year. It's like a honeymoon last year. Oh, Nick Nurse is our coach and everything's good. Well, maybe it's already to the point where Nick Nurse's bullshit is already a problem. Sixers fans, turn on him. Go ahead. I'm all about it. That's right. Fiercey saying, Sixers fans, good luck with these guys. That's right. Good luck with these guys. That's hilarious, Fiercey. I love that. I'm going to give you a dunk for that one right now, because that is so hilarious what you just said. Good luck with those guys. Good luck with those big butt guys that you got on your team. That's right. 235 is on the dunk sheet for Fiercey Salsera, bringing back the Nick Nurse quote. Let's go do this team talking about this right now. Let's go break it down exactly where it went wrong for the Philadelphia 76ers. You know, we saw some good defensive pressure from the Raptors overall last night. The energy was very strong, and we got a better outcome with some of the quarters where we outscored them in certain ways. Now, 31-30 after the first quarter, I was like, this is the same as the first game. We're down by 1 after the first quarter. Oh, well, we'll see what happens. But the second quarter, we got some separation from them. We got a 7-point lead over them, so 6 points up at the halftime. That was very good. And then the third quarter, both teams struggled a bit, 21 points each. And then the fourth, we outscored them by 2. So it was like it was a close game. But we had the lead over them for most of the game. At times we had double-digit lead. And I felt like as the game was going, this is a very dangerous game, because that's a veteran team with Kyle Lowry on it and Tyrese Maxey and Nick Nurse coaching it. And in some ways, we're a green team. We're very young. And in some ways, this is something that we got to watch in a rebuild. How do the Raptors weather veteran teams trying to surge up and beat us if we have the lead in the fourth quarter? And one of the things I give a lot of credit to DJ Carton is managing that. It's very, very difficult, especially when you have masterminds like Kyle Lowry on the other side. And we did see Kalo do some of those Grote kind of things with steals and big threes late. And that's the thing. Nick Nurse that's the way he does things. We know from him being our coach, if there's a deficit, he's going to motivate his guys after halftime and during the second half to come and try and snatch the game from being down. And I really am impressed with how our young Raptors weathered the storm. I'm impressed with our coach for giving them the tools and the guidance to weather the storm, and for them to execute and get a win over a team like Philadelphia where it was close and they had their opportunities to surge up and try and beat us. It didn't happen. And that's a big, that's a very good sign, because honestly, our team is so green. And this is one of the stepping stones of a young rebuilding team, that you have to learn how to hold off a playoff level team from coming and snatching it from you by the end of the game. So that's a huge, huge thing right there. We outshot them 46-38 percentage wise. At the three-point line, we didn't make a lot of threes last night. We only had 6 threes. And holy crap, the rest of the league is getting like almost 40 threes in certain games. Well, that wasn't the case last night. Neither team shot well from three for the most part. I mean, Maxey had his moments, but he missed a lot of threes last night. Free throws were a huge factor in this game last night, a huge amount of them. And like that, that's why the game took so long last night. We ended up shooting like almost 100 free throws between the two teams. And that's insane. In some ways, I'd never seen something like that. It was like a record for the most free throws in a game for both teams, in a Raptors game, I think, almost. 46 free throws for the Raptors, 53 for the other side, but we made 39 of them, and they made 40. 85% from the free throw line for the Raptors. That is fantastic. And that was absolutely necessary for us to win. In some ways, they missed 13 free throws, and they lost by 8 points. So think about that. Nick Nurse could be telling these guys, if you guys had shot better at the free throw line, we would have won. In some ways, that's true. Now, the rebounds, as I said earlier, were fantastic. 54 rebounds for the Raptors, and they only got 28. Yeah, you do the math. That's almost double. And that was really hard work, getting after it and just dominating and being the bigger team than the Sixers. The Sixers have a size issue without Joel Embiid healthy. I'm going to say that right now. Yeah, 18 offensive rebounds, fantastic for the Raptors. Only 25 assists by the end of the game. And it's weird because they had 15 at the half, and they only managed to get 10 in the second half. But I'll take it. 25 is the benchmark, and it's fine. They had more turnovers than assists, 27 turnovers to 25 assists. But why? How can the Raptors win a game with 27 turnovers? Well, they did it. That's amazing to me. Most teams, if they get 27 turnovers, they're definitely lost that game. Seriously. Fast break points, 18. It was nice to see us getting in transition. That's always a strength for the Raptors. 56 points in the paint. That's Scotty, Jakob, different people going at the basket and attacking it like Ochai Agbaji. That's fantastic. 56 points in the paint. So, yeah, good stuff by the Raptors on the team stats, out-rebounding them by so much, getting so many free throws. And, yeah, the turnovers are inexplicable. How did they win with 27 turnovers? Yeah, we saw a lot of dumb turnovers, and that's the sign of a green team that's got a lot of rookies, a lot of missed connections, some dumb stuff that's just like, oh, that's a rookie mistake. Well, we're going to have to live and die with those. And last night we lived, even though we had them. And that's great. That's great. It's fantastic, man. Yeah. Let's go. Cowboys saying eye candy, hi. And Mike's on the mic. Mike on the mic. That's right. On the mic. Drop the mic. Cowboys saying, I watched some Philly podcasts. They're losing their mind. Did Butthole Face just walk off after the game? He didn't. It looked like he dapped Darko. I was really hoping he'd walk over. It looked like he walked past him, and he didn't really talk to anybody. Nick was kind of okay after the game. He was very matter of fact in his after interview. But yeah, I don't know. There's something wrong with that team. In some ways, some of the things that I'm feeling, the vibes from their team, is very similar to last year of Nick Nurse on our team. And the vibes were all weird and off there. So this may very well be the case once again. I don't know. Either way, the honeymoon's over in Philadelphia is what I'm seeing right now. Wayne's here. Good to see the Sergeant Wayne Strainer, our sergeant at arms for the Raptors Freak family. A bit early, Lex. You're all fired up. Fantastic. One game at a time, one opportunity for our rookies to gain valuable cohesion among themselves with a dose of Boucher bringing energy. I love it, freaks. Yeah, that's Sergeant Wayne Strainer approved the performance last night. The energy was fantastic. And in some ways, there's like leaders on our team that lead with energy. Of course, we're going to talk about Scotty being the center of it all, and his leadership with what his effort is and what he's able to do athletically does rub off on the rest of them. And some of these guys are getting after it and hitting the floor, and it's only the second game of the season. In some ways, there's some of the effort out there is playoff energy kind of effort. When there's Mogbo, Shed, Davion Mitchell, these guys are like catalysts off of each other. And Chris Boucher may have been the prototype from before, But now we got Mogbo doing this shit, just like Chris Boucher. And listen, if we could have a whole bunch of guys that get after it like this, that's the kind of team I like. That's the kind of team I like. I want them to stay healthy and energetic all season long so we can keep this level of energy up, because it is a really big way we can win if we really are dogged on defense. I love seeing Davion and Jamal Shed hound the guards on the other side. And Scotty is like doing big stuff on defense now too, with shot blocking. And, I really like the way the guys are rebounding too. There's a lot of like Jamison Battle got a big rebound, and it's like, grab the ball, 2 hands, secure it, and put it in your hands. None of this lazy grab one hand stuff. No, they're very fundamentally rebounding right and getting it right. Now, they got to clean up some of the passing and take care of the ball a little bit better and not have so many turnovers. Yeah, we're going to improve. We're going to improve. That's right. I love it. Fiercely saying, yes, at Nako, Mogbo is definitely showing signs of a future solid player. I like him on the team. He dribbles and has better court vision than Precious, but mostly his rebounding game is fire. Yeah, those kind of things are very important and awesome. And, he does belong. It's crazy. Like, I was like, man, I know we're doing Scott a solid and drafting him, and it's such a dream. But, man, this kind of stuff can have so many benefits beyond just his play on the court. The vibes, the stuff behind the scenes, the camaraderie, the happiness that Scott has, fulfilling a childhood dream with his best friend. That kind of stuff's awesome. I was joking with Lloyd. I told him, I was like, man, Lloyd was playing in a rec game this week where he was bombing threes. And I wrote him a message saying, you should be up here playing for the Raptors with the Broskies. And he wrote me back with a crying, laughing face at me. Yeah, that's so funny, Raptors Free. I mean it though, Lloyd. Seriously, you could get you on the G League or something like that. We'll get you on the 905. Maybe you could be the understudy for Dick in battle. You're like the third stringer. We got Grady Dick, we got Battle Dick, and then we got Lloyd Dick. And that's right. That's what we want here. Wait, phrasing, Lex. Stop. What did you say? Stop. Fiercey saying 1,000 subscribers. Yes, Fiercey. We got that milestone yesterday. It was a big deal. I'm Shake saying huge win. Yeah, I love it. We finally beat Nick. We got our first Atlantic Division win of the season. It took so long to get a win in the Atlantic Division last year. It's good to just get it out of the way. In some ways, we got a lot of monkeys off our back. Seriously. And I really did want Darko to get a win over Nick. And that's so satisfying. And of course, seeing the chain ceremony after the game, you see Darko come in with his signature kind of wah energy, like where he's like, everybody's hyped with him too. Everyone's very, very hyped with him. Yeah. Congrats on 1,000 subs. That's awesome. I appreciate that, man. And thank you for being one of them. Cowboy saying, I believe Mogbo and Shed and Battle are going to be called up to the Raptors a lot this year off the 905. They're too good. Well, I'd love to see Darko capitalize on using all 50 of the available games for them to be on the Raptors. In some ways, this is the time they need them right now with the injuries to Bruce Brown and Jacoby Walter and RJ and Emmanuel and Kelly, that, this makes sense. The two ways available for you. And in some ways, that is something, Mogbo can play as much as he wants on the Raptors. He's not on a two-way. But Shed can too. But Battle and Carton and Shamshay have a limited amount of games they can play for the Raptors on the big squad. It's like, I think it's 50. You got 50 games. And that's not even every you play, it's suited up. Like in some ways, Shamshay got one of his games counted last night, even though he got a DMP. So yeah, we want to capitalize on using these correctly the whole entire season, because that's how we can make development. But, having Urich sit there and be available just in case is worth it, even if he doesn't get to play. But that did count for one of his 50 games, just so you know, Cowboy. Just so you know. Yeah, 1,000. Congratulations again. I appreciate you guys. I really do. It's a huge, big deal for this channel. The people that have been watching me for a while know that this has been something we've wanted for a long, long time. And we share in this achievement, guys. This channel is, me on this side. But once again, I really do look at this as a two-way street collaborative channel, because you guys come in with such great comments. That's part of why this content is so fun. That's right. Carlos saying, morning, Lex and Freak Nation. Big win last night. Yeah, I'm freaking out. Freaking out. It's so good. I was like, man, awesome. So good. We're 1-1. We're 500, guys. We made it to 500 in the season. Let's go. We may be the only time we're at 500 this whole entire season. But hey, at least we're at 500 right now. That's right. Kaz is saying, Nurse was trying so hard to beat us last night. Yeah. I love seeing the defensive stuff he's throwing at us with zone and trapping and all that kind of stuff. And I love the very headiness of players like Jamal Shed and DJ Carton and Scotty Barnes facing those traps and getting the ball up the court. There were a couple times where we were lazy with passes, and Kyle Lowry was an opportunist. But for the most part, it was very, very cool. In fact, this was one of the moments I loved last night, seeing one of our guys, I think it was Mitchell. I think it was Mitchell. It may have been Shed who took a Kyle Lowry-esque charge, and the Groat is there to see it right in front of them. That's very cool. And I can only wonder what Jamal Shed is talking about with Kyle Lowry on the court, because in some ways, I'm telling you, in some ways, there's so much similarities in this youngster coming in from Houston with the guy from Villanova that used to play for us. There's like a little bit of that Spider-Man, like, hey, wait, you're like me. Yeah, you're like me. You do stuff like I do. What is this? Yeah, Shed taking a charge is so apropos. And man, what a classic Raptors moment in history when we saw Scotty Barnes doing a jump ball with the Groat, Kalo. He's so funny. Kyle's trying to say, yeah, it's not me. Caleb Martin, he's jumping. No, you got to jump against Scott. And of course, Scott is winning that jump ball. But unfortunately, it was right at the end of the shot clock, and DJ Carton could not get a shot off before the shot clock went off. But yeah, that was hilarious. I love that moment. And Casey Bannerman was asking on Twitter for somebody to get a good image of Scotty jumping against Kyle. Wise, that'll be very cool. Groat versus Scotty. And in some ways, that's so fun. I love that they asked Kyle about the Groat moniker before the game. And it's very touching and special to him. That it's like they love me that much. They think I'm the greatest Raptor of all time. You are, my guy. And listen, I feel part of this because, many years ago, I kind of made up the term Groat. I don't think that existed before the Raptors fans started saying it on this channel. Remember, I did my greatest Raptor of all time ranking, and I had a whole basis of like loyalty and longevity and achievement and how they are with our team. And I had a spreadsheet, and I showed everybody. It's in the archive. And I showed the scientific research and the formula of how I determined that Kyle Lowry is the greatest Raptor of all time. And it's weird because the Groat argument started coming out around then. So I do really feel like I have a hand in popularizing and getting the Groat moniker more mainstream. And look where it is now. They're asking him about that nickname before the game, and he just feels so touched. In some ways, I feel like we had a big part of normalizing that whole thing in some ways here. Because we can go back and look at the timeline, and I don't know how early people were talking about the greatest Raptor of all time or even the acronym greatest Raptor of all time, Groat. But we were normalizing that like 2 years ago or something like that. And we made it very, very abundantly clear and bona fide that Kyle Lowry is the Groat. That's right. And he really does appreciate it. He really does. Let's see. Good morning to Carlo from Cass. Let's see. Nako's saying Darko's schemes feel like they're getting more ambitious. He has such a great philosophy, and I love the way they play within it. And I love the way he talks to the players when they're coming off court, especially if they do something really amazing. Like last night, there was animated talking to Jakob Poeltl and Chris Boucher when they were coming off in stints that they did, where Darko's just like telling them, I can almost imagine what he's saying. He's saying, this is exactly what I'm talking about, Chris. You do this, you bust your ass, you block shots like this, I'll play you every single night. And Chris is like, okay. I love that kind of motivation from him because you can see how fired up Darko can get in a moment. Just like me, he can just go off all of a sudden. And in some ways, he's going off in positivity and just like, you're a badass. And that's kind of what he does. He likes to build up his players and make them feel very superhuman, like superheroes. And I can only imagine how he pumps these guys up, especially after they do something amazing on the court and they're coming off the court to sit on the bench. Yeah, I love that stuff so much, man. Santino. All right, let's see. Fiercely saying, I heard a bit of the Philly broadcast. They were saying Nick Nurse tried every possible lineup. When they switched to zone, got a little nervous. Raps need to work on it. I didn't know Martin left Miami. Yeah, I thought he left. Yeah, he left Miami and came to them. That's going to be an interesting thing because once again, just like Philadelphia, I think Miami's weaker than they were last year. This is the thing. Everybody thinks the East is so strong and the Raptors at the bottom. I don't think this is true because I think that there's teams like Philadelphia and Miami that are on the down low worse than they were last year. And Atlanta, they're going to be worse than last year. And even the Bulls, they've had some success so far this season. I don't have any belief in them. So it could very well be that the Raptors are going to be somewhere in the middle of the Eastern Conference, surprisingly to everybody else. Seriously, because I do really feel like Philadelphia is in trouble. The vibes aren't right, and Joel's not going to save this team. We know that because once he comes back and they get used to him being around, He'll be on the shelf again. Watch. Seriously, he'll be on the shelf again. G saying Nurse had Maxey looking like Fred. And what I mean by that is his system is ISO heavy. Nurse created that selfish system. Well, it's definitely a philosophical difference. And that's why I love our coach's philosophical difference from him, the one that we currently have coaching, because his coaching is sharing and team oriented, and a team game beat a non-team game last night. And that was a big part of it. One of the things the Sixers did last night, and specifically Kelly Oubre Jr., was foul a lot. These guys were playing very physical and annoying. Kelly Oubre was taking cheap shots on people left and right. And that's symptomatic of a Nick Nurse team also. We were dirty and fouling people a lot when he was our coach. And yeah, there was a lot of physicality on the down low with the Sixers when they caught up to us. Often they didn't, though, because they were lazy. And but then when they were close enough, they were taking cheap shots. There were some very, very cheap shots by Kelly Oubre specifically last night in that game last night. That's right. That's right. W for Darko. I love it, Isaac. I love it so much. G's getting a laugh from Cowboy. And it's a great team win. That's right. Fiercely saying, enjoy Cuba. Evelyn, you're lucky you have power. There was outages last week. Yeah. Wayne saying, Jamison Battle has already proven his worth, and it's only going to get better. Those are the shots we needed with Trent Jr. that he couldn't deliver. Battle is working sharpshooter. There you go. All right, let's see. Yeah, that's very cool. I love that so much. I like, our rookies are a little bit more ahead. And in some ways, this may be a very on purpose thing by Bobby and Masai, is that a lot of rookies are coming in and they're athletically talented. They're great prospects. They can be all this and that, but they're not ready to play. In some ways, like Mogbo and Shed are a little bit more seasoned and ready for the NBA because they did full time in college. And in some ways, Battle's another one of them. And that is really a difference in different rookies around the NBA. Some of these guys are just not going to be ready because they didn't get the right schooling to be prepared to be in the NBA. But for some reason, Masai and Bobby have found guys that are like, yeah, this guy's ready to do stuff for us immediately in the NBA. And I think Shed, obviously his player build and the way he is as a leader and the way he plays is so veteran-like, even though he's played 2 games in the NBA. And you got Battle, who's got a confidence that's unshakable, that's really like something that a more veteran NBA player would have, like a Corey Kispert, Sam Merrill, a Sam Hauser. He's got that kind of vibe to him already as a deadly shooter. So it's very interesting that these guys are a little bit ahead in those ways. And Mogbo is pure energy, hustle, and just getting after it is what is happening with him. So, man, it's so awesome. It's so awesome. So awesome. That's right. Blackhawk has got we are 500 and he's got a bunch of frogs in there. I love it. Kermit like Anthony Edwards tonight. We're gonna be playing Kermit tonight. That's right. Nako's saying I think Mogbo can put on the strength to be on the level of athleticism as Precious. Yes. This is very interesting. In some ways, Mogbo is as skinny and weak as he's going to be in his NBA career. And we've got to pretend and think ahead that he's going to lift some weights. And just like Scott, just like Grady, and other people, he's going to get more stronger. And in some ways, he'll be able to do more physically down low with defense and rebounding to be more and more helpful in the future. I agree with this. Exactly. Yes. Guardian Transit's here, guys. Good to see Guardian Transit back here. A lot of people going on and a lot of crying going on in 76er land, beat by a bunch of G League players. Nick won't play any young guys. Laugh out loud. Yeah, they're saying that they got beat by G League players, and that's somewhat true. But let's not get it twisted. You got beat by Scotty Barnes, a number 1 top player in this league. And more we're going to see this. The highlights from last night of Scotty and how he was playing, well, they get played on NBA.com, and people stateside start seeing them. There's going to be all-star votes going towards Scotty more and more because people love players that are dominant and powerful, and that is Scotty. Scotty is very, very dominant. In fact, he was showing a crazy-ass dominance. Him and Jakob were the most dominant players last night. It wasn't Tyrese Maxey. It wasn't Andre Drummond gobbling up all the rebounds. No, it was Scotty Barnes and Jakob Poeltl dominating the paint and doing whatever the fuck they wanted against the Sixers last night. And I love that, man. So, yeah, you can go ahead and say you got beat by G Leaguers. No, you got beat by Scotty Barnes, all NBA talent is what I say right there. That's right. That's right. Guardian Transit, great to see you back in the chat with us. Cowboys, I loved it when Shed and Darko did that high five. Let's go. Yeah. Darko is so with them, and they love him, man. I'm telling you, that is something that is a really good breath of fresh air from the predecessor who we beat last night. In some ways, I've heard in the past that Nick Nurse is like, you can talk to him at practice and you can be around him during the game, but off hours, he's not available to you. He really didn't want to talk to the players and off times. You think that Darko's not taking a call from one of his players at 3 a.m. in the morning if they need him? Yeah, he is. In some ways, that's the difference between a personality like Rajakovic and a personality like Nick. So, man, the contrast is very stark. And we're seeing it in the results last night, is what I'm going to say right there. That's right. Randolph saying, game day blessings to our beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. Today is a gift and a call to action. Your life has purpose in your heart to do all that you can to be impactful. Did you slip and delete his comments? Because honestly, Blackhawk's a good person, and I know maybe you just messed up, David. I know you have a wrench from trivia. It's good to see you that you're here, David. But yeah, it's kind of weird that you deleted all of Blackhawk's messages. I'll read them either way, Neil. Don't worry. Let's see. Yeah, I think that that's fantastic. Words of wisdom, Randolph. Thank you. Today is a gift. Let's make it a good one. Let's raptorize our day. It's Saturday. Share the love, baby. Share the love for beating the Sixers last night. That's right. And do all you can to be impactful. I love that so much. All right, let's go see what Leo's saying. Leo's saying this morning, keep a little fire burning, however small and however hidden. I feel like he's talking to me. Maybe my channel is small potatoes. Maybe we're only at 1K, but I'm keeping this home fire burning, Leo. The passionate fire of loving and cheering for the Raptors will never go out here. It's an eternal flame, Bengals. And that's right. It will not go out. That's right. And your encouragement on the download, Leo Routens, is appreciated. Leo's life tips. Thank you, Rand. Thank you, Trevor. The three wise men of the Raptor Freak channel. You guys are awesome. Kaz has got the spray paint out. There wasn't a lot of three-pointers last night in some ways. Blackhawks saying, run it back. Philly was going nuclear last night. That's funny. I mean, in some ways, you guys love to go check out the other content makers for the other teams. And I'm sure Philly Nation's in a tizzy. They didn't expect no 0-2 start, and they damn for sure didn't expect to lose to the Raptors this year. I love it so much. You know what? I told y'all we're going to get a win over Philadelphia this year, and boy, did we get it already. Boy, did we get it already. That's right. Carlos saying having Mogbo feels like having rookie season Scotty. Imagine having two prime Scotties. Now, let's not get it twisted. This is not Scotty Barnes' second coming, but there are a lot of things that are similar between those two birds of a feather. In some ways, the basketball philosophies have been shared with each other for years. They probably have a lot on the same page. And once again, that is an added bonus. And maybe part of the reason why Jonathan is doing so well is because, hell, you just joined a team and your best friend, your brother, is the franchise face. In some ways, some of those jitters about knowing if you have a place on the team or doing that is reinforced by your buddy's got your back and he's going to be speaking you up and looking out for you in certain ways. And that dude has a lot of clout because he is a franchise face. So in some ways, I could say maybe some of the success for Jonathan Mogbo is on the Raptors is very specific. Because if he got drafted by another team and Scott's not there for him, he may be a little bit more not so confident as far as things. And that the Scotty factor is involved in this. And I love it, man. It's so cool to see them do the interview after the game, wasn't it? And you can tell in some ways Scotty's like a proud brother to Jonathan right now. In some ways, it's like he's got to be like, dude, I'm so proud of you, man. You made a three as your first shot. And you're doing this, you're doing that. I see how much you're working, man. And this is the other thing. Like I said, these guys do this. They rub off on each other. Scotty sees Jonathan getting after it like he's doing. He's like, man, I want to be more like Jonathan again. And I'm going to get after it too, but at his athletic ability and aptitude. And then it's back and forth. And all of a sudden it's competitive. Like Davion Mitchell's competing with Jamal Shed and IQ. And they're just all raising each other's games up. So yeah, Jonathan in some ways is a good role model for Scott. Because he's going to get after it. He's going to hit the floor. He's going to go after it. That's going to energize Scott because he's going to see his best friend out there giving his all. So, man, it really does help a lot in some ways. Once again, the synergistic pairings of best friends on this team is a very powerful thing. Once again, you play for your heart. You play for your guys. You play for your dogs. You play even harder. RJ for Emmanuel, Emmanuel for RJ, Davion for Jacoby, Jacoby for Davion, Grady for Oshai, Oshai for Grady. That's what I'm saying. There's tag teams on this team, and they are playing for more than just their team. They're playing for their best friends. And that's something that is very, very much something that people got to talk about right there. Yeah. All right, I got to make sure that Blackhawk is not banned from this channel. I will make sure afterwards. I hope that David just like misclicked. I think that's what happened. Carlos saying, oh, wait, I read that one already. Blackhawk saying, love how Darko substituted in J-Mo when Fernando was struggling. Yeah. Yeah, that was smart and rightfully so. I was thinking like in the second quarter when Philly started to come back on us a little bit, I was like, no, bring Scott in as soon as possible. And he waited. And that was that moment where Mirkovic didn't let them put Scotty back in. He had to stand on the sideline. They should have inserted Scott from the timeout because that was too much of a waste. There was a little bit of still some confusion and not things. I was like, man, no, they need Scott out there right now because that bench unit needs more of a focal point to draw attention. And they waited. He should have subbed Scotty in out off of the timeout, but he brought him in a little bit later. And then it was a turnover, not a foul. And that's not a play where they can insert a player. And Mirkovic was right to not allow Darko to insert Scott back into the game at that point. So anybody who's mad at them saying, no, Scotty couldn't go in at that moment, hold your tongue. The referee, the young rookie referee, made the right call in that situation. But they got Scott in very soon after with one of the multitude of foul calls that happened last night. In fact, the Raptors had 3 players foul out last night, which was absolutely crazy. I couldn't believe that we had 3 players foul out last night, and 2 of them were our 3-point shooters, Grady Dick and Jamison Battle. And then, of course, the great off day, Davion Mitchell fouling out. That's right. Carlos saying when Blackhawk, Darko, look, they took that Mogbo gamble and it worked. Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to go with the flow of the game. You got to kind of understand who's doing what. I mean, it's part of the reason why Jamison Battle's coming in the game earlier than ever in the first quarter is because, look, in some ways you can't have a set plan coming in the season and say, yeah, Jamison's going to be like third string and he'll come in fourth quarters like Shamshay when there's blowouts. No, if Jamison's showing some stuff, you need to get him in there sooner. And you can't be stubborn like a Dwayne Casey in the past or a Nick Nurse with gatekeeping on allowing good players. In some ways, Darko said this in the offseason that anything can happen, that guys are going to put in the effort and do certain things. They're going to get the chances. And that was evident with Mogbo and Battle last night. And even Shed, to some degree, Shed is getting to play like regular rotation minutes right away as a rookie. And that's because he's showing an aptitude and a trust that we can have in him. Yeah, it's very, very good. Very, very good. Kaz is saying J-Mo needs all of Bruno's minutes. I don't agree with this. I think that in some ways we need energy. And in some ways you have more guys out there getting quick bursts of all out. Well, in some ways you don't want to tire out J-Mo. You still need to play Fernando also next to him. And like I said, all hands on deck. If we're going to play bigger teams like Cleveland, we're going to need these big guys to come out there and be a team together. Because Jakob by himself could not handle Allen and Mobley, and Scotty was ineffective as a big in our opening game. So, all things in certain ways. We can't make rules like this. They just say, oh, Mobo's just going to eat up all of Fernando's minutes. That's dumb. We shouldn't do that. We need to allow Mogbo to earn his minutes still, because there's still going to be nights where he's going to come out there and look like Precious and have a bunch of turnovers and not be playing right because he's still a rookie and he's still very green, guys. And honestly, this is just on last night. Well, Darko's a good coach. He reads the game. He sees that Bruno Fernando's struggling a bit more than Jonathan Mogbo, and Mogbo gets more of the second half minutes. So it could be on a certain night. Jonathan Mobo's an absolute disaster, and Bruno Fernando's killing it. So, and you might be coming to say me the same thing in reverse after that. Kareem saying Blackhawk run it back. Philly was hilarious. Yeah, you guys were watching the Ops channel. You saw Sixers Freak and what they were saying last night. Kareem was loving it. He's like, yeah. Were you guys in there trolling? I love it. Randolph saying, Lex, congratulations on the growth of the channel. Stay the course, my family. One bit of advice, sir. Do not let anyone get under your skin. Bring the passion, but keep your emotions intact. I have a problem with that. In some ways, that's part of why this channel is so much fun to watch is Lex is run 100% raw Lex. If I'm sad one day, you'll feel it. If I'm angry one day, you'll feel it. If I'm feeling good, you'll feel it too. In some ways, I have trouble with this. In some ways, I don't have a filter. In some ways, I've thought about not having my personal life out on blast on my channel. More and more as I go, I want to stop doing that. But it is, I can only be myself. And with no script and no idea what the fuck I'm going to say unfiltered, I can't promise this. My emotions are going to be there no matter what. But I can try and handle them a little bit better. Yeah. Kaz has got Darko on blast. I love it. Let's see what Blackhawk's saying here. Darko didn't need to get the tech. Davion handled it better by going to Scotty and letting him know it's all right when Scotty got the tech. Yeah, I really like that leadership by Mitchell coming over to Scott. And honestly, I have no problem with either of those techs. In some ways, that shows that they care and they're passionate. In some ways, I didn't think that that was an out-of-pocket one by Scott. In some ways, it did hurt us, and the Sixers did go on a little run afterwards. But also, let's not get it twisted. Yeah, Darko didn't have to get that tech, but he did. And part of it is, once again, showing solidarity and support for our leader, Scotty Barnes. And that goes a long way, seriously. In some ways, I've heard Scott say this on Twitch before. Darko's got my back. I really feel like he does. And that is one of those instances where Coach Rajakovic is showing, I care about what Scotty cares about, and I'm going to echo what he's echoing, and I'm going to fight for what he's fighting for. And I can't get mad at that. That's actually a very, that's a coach's strategy. In some ways, they will get a tech on purpose just to show that they're there for their player. And I have no problem with that. In some ways, you can say it's unnecessary, sure. But I look at it as a positive because in some ways, Darko showed that he really cared and he's got Scott's back. That's right. Carlos saying, gee, exactly. Nurse treating Maxey as his new Fred. I mean, yeah, in some ways, Fred haters, can you see the action happening with different players now with Maxey in Philadelphia? And can you understand why I was saying all along this was Nick Nurse's fault, all the things that you hated about Fred VanVleet? It was never about Fred. It was never about what he does. It was about what Nick Nurse, as a coach, was instructing Fred VanVleet to do for our team at the time. And the same thing could be said for the Siakam stuff, too. That, Nick didn't trust most of the Raptors in his last couple of years of coaching our team. And he really relied on the guys he really trusted. And that was Fred and Pascal. So, he didn't trust Precious. He didn't totally trust Scotty in certain ways either. He didn't trust Gary. So in some ways, that was part of the reason why he weighed so heavily on the guys he absolutely trusted. And there's the similar kind of action going on here in Philadelphia with Tyrese Maxey. So, yeah, that's part of it right there. Yeah, David saying 1,000 same day, sick and well done. Thank you, David. Commissioner Trivia, David Saborn. We love you, man. And I appreciate all the things you do for my channel and the support you're doing, man. You are awesome, man. So awesome, David. I appreciate you. And man, they've already eaten up all the black sweet in the middle of that feeder, but the side things on the sides are still out there. I'm going to leave it out there. I've seen tons of Blue Jays on that feeder, but I had not seen a Cardinal get on it, though. But I haven't seen any Cardinals around. They may have gone somewhere else for the season already. But the Blue Jays are getting on that feeder, and they like it, David. Very, very awesome stuff. Well done. That's right. David's saying also start blasting commercials at us from 9 to 9:30 until the stream. I don't know. I'm not doing this kind of shit. I know that it can increase revenue, but once again, David, I'm not into this. That's not what revolves in my world. It's not this, man. It really isn't. And in some ways, there's a freedom in a life where your life is not controlled by the bottom line. And that's what Alexiot said. Because, yeah, that's the bottom line. Sorry, I tried to do a Stone Cold, but it didn't work. Nako's saying they were trying to tell me Maxey was better than Scotty. Maxey's good, but he plays with Embiid. Listen, I don't think you should compare Maxey to Scotty. It's more fair to compare Maxey to IQ. And in some ways, Scotty needs to be compared to people like Paulo and Evan Mobley and Cade Cunningham. But yeah, no, there's no reason to compare Maxey to Scotty because there's not a whole lot of similarities right there in some ways. In some ways, people that are doing that, it's a waste of time. It's a very different player. Kaz is saying Oshai had a good game under the radar tonight as well. Yeah, last night. Yeah, I really liked his aggressiveness. And as I said, he was Kansas Oshai last night. A lot of the ways Oshai Agbaji was scoring last night was very reminiscent of his championship run for the Kansas Jayhawks, which is where he goes to the basket and he absorbs physicality in the lane and he makes acrobatic layups through contact. And there was quite a few plays of that. And I loved it, man. He was such a great bucket in that way. In some ways, that's a way more effective way for him to score than being the three-point shooter outside. But unfortunately, in this league, he's not going to get that many opportunities to be that kind of scorer. It was the undersized play of the Sixers that was allowing for that. But he really did take some opportunities, and he came to the hoop strong and hard, and he finished very, very well last night. And that's something I love about what Agbaji was doing last night, and that's one of the reasons why he's one of my 5 stars. For sure. That's right. Blackhawks saying, I agree. We have 4 good point guards. Davion, Shed, and Carton play very similar. Yeah, they're different flavors. And I'm going to be very excited to see how these guys divvy up with the 905 and the Raptors as the season progresses. When 905 starts up, we could probably say that Shed and Carton will go to 905 and play down there way, way more. And Quickly and Mitchell will be our point guards on the main squad. But if there's injuries or any, God forbid, any kind of stuff like that, we may see either one of those guys called up at different times, Shed or Carton, just to be there to help them. Now, of course, the crossover between the 905 and the Raptors can happen where Shed's playing a morning game 905 out at Paramount Fine Food Center, and then he's coming downtown to Scotiabank Arena to play that night. That will probably happen this year because they'll have to get double duty out of Shed because he's going to be very valuable as the starting point guard of the Raptors 905 and also as the third depth chart point guard for the Raptors. So we want to see how they balance all this. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be very interesting. And I have a very strong feeling that both DJ Carton and Jamal Shed are going to be getting double duty at times. Very much, yeah. Nako's saying, I like Carton more than Doughton. Better creator. I also really want Darko to keep up with small but ball schemes. He's making it work. I don't, once again, this is another player comparison that I just don't see as valuable. Doughton is a good shooter and in some ways very measured. That is where I would see the comparison. Jeffrey Doughton Jr. and DJ Carton both is still confidence in what they're doing out there is very measured and smart and that you can depend on them. In some ways, I wasn't worried about DJ. Like, I don't get all scared with him out on the court when he's handling the ball and directing things. He has such a good grasp of controlling the game. And once again, that's something that Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet did to us for so long, was being that floor general that's controlling the pace and keeping things on the up and up with the way we're supposed to be doing things. Carton doesn't have to score, but he can run the team in a very effective way. And once again, these guys are real point guards. They're looking for people and setting them up to be successful on assists. And that's something that's so refreshing for the Raptors as backup point guards for our team. I don't mean to pile on Flynn all the time, but I do also mean to pile on Flynn. I really, really do. That's right. Yeah. Blackhawks saying, I bet you RJ comes back tonight. I am betting that also. I really do want to see him against his old friend, Julius Randle, tonight. I think that that's a fun matchup, and I think that that may be part of the impetus and the motivation for RJ to show up and be able to play tonight. He wouldn't have traveled to Minnesota if there wasn't a good chance that he could play tonight. He would have just stayed back with IQ because IQ didn't go to Minnesota. Why is RJ going to Minnesota today? Yeah, exactly. Nako's saying that was business as usual for Yak. Yeah, Yak was way more solid. And honestly, the blocks last night were so fun. They were so fun. They were big time blocks and they were emphatic. And some of them were very, very good. Very, very good. Nameless saying Yak was also my number one star. Yeah, I just like the bounce back. I just like that, seriously, the free throw shooting was huge for him. 9 of 11. I mean, seriously, think about the struggles we've seen with Jakob Poeltl at the free throw line over his career. And the fact that he's hit 9 of 11 in a game, and the free throws did matter last night to counterbalance the turnovers we had. So it's very, very interesting. Yak allows everybody to be who they are meant to be. He's just an underrated star for our team. I saw in one place online, they were asking, okay, there's Maxey and Scotty are the two best players in this game. Who do you think is the third best player matchup between the Sixers and the Raptors last night? And the person that he came around and said, I think it's Jakob Poeltl. And he was right. He was right. The third best player last night besides Maxey and Scotty. And in fact, he was better than Maxey last night, Jakob Poeltl. Poeltl was the third best player on the court for sure. For sure. Yeah. Trevor's saying Darko says Battle is NBA ready. Yeah, he is. Battle is battle ready for the NBA battle on the battle of the NBA level. And yeah, he's cool, man. Once again, there's something about Battle, Carton, and Shed that is heady and above their experience and their age. As they're more like together and they take care of the ball. There's fundamentals. There's certain things that they're doing out there. It's not sloppy. It's not knuckleheaded. I'm an artistic basketball player like LaMelo Ball, and I'm going to do crazy artistic shit that the young kids think is awesome. No, they're measured. They're fundamentally sound, and they're dependable. And that's the thing I like. And that's part of the reason why these guys are so young and they're able to contribute right away, because they're like old school rookies. They come into the league with some schooling, like they went to UNC with Dean Smith, and they actually learned how to play in college before they actually came to the NBA. There's just so many young knuckleheads coming in this league that aren't complete players that are learning how to play basketball in the NBA as rookies. And we don't have that in Jamal Shed, DJ Carton, or Jamison Battle. Those guys are ready, and they know what they're doing already out there. It's so good. It's so good. So good. Alley-oop to Nameless. We'll do that. The Paisano getting up there and throwing it down. Hey, what do you think, Nameless, about Jakob Poeltl being Luigi for Halloween recently. He dressed up as Luigi. I'm like, I guess because you're tall and skinny, you can't be Mario. It would look weird if you put the red hat on, so you put the green hat on. Okay, that's fine. We get it. You're Luigi. Now, he said he was Luigi, and I'm just guessing that he means Luigi from Super Mario Brothers. What if he's like Luigi, like some sort of like Italian chef or something? I don't know. That would be weird. 84 dunks for my man Nameless, my Italian teacher. That's right, the Italian plumber. That's right. Let's go. All right, let's see. Where are we here? Let's go. I am on Cass. Blackhawk, I agree. I think RJ will be back tonight. I think we're all kind of seeing that coming up. Neil's also saying, even though Shed had 7 turnovers, Shed will not see the 905 because the main roster will need to maintain 3 point guards at all times. DJ will come up whenever IQ is injured. Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I think it is very much what I just said. Because honestly, we got to think about this also. There's going to be a certain amount of time on the main squad that Scotty's going to run the point. And we're also seeing Jonathan bringing the ball up in transition too. This is a luxury having all these point guards right now on the main squad, but let's not get it twisted. Jamal Shed needs to go to 905. He needs to do Fred VanVleet's path of running that team down there fully as the number 1 guy without IQ or Mitchell in front of him. That is our team. So yeah, you can say you think Jamal Shed won't see 905, but that's bullshit, Neil. He will be on 905. That is his team to run, and his little ecosystem to be that kind of player like Fred and Kyle have been for us in the past. So it would not benefit Jamal Shed if he avoided 905. And I'm sick of people acting like it's a scourge or a bad thing for people to go to 905. We have such a young team, and this nucleus is going to be very good. In fact, the success and the winning on the 905 level may be much higher than the main roster Raptors, and that may be very much more fruitful in progressing and helping these young players get better. So, yeah, that's not happening. Shed will be the starting number 1 point guard for the 905, and they're going to balance bringing him up back and forth with injuries to the Raptors on whether they need him up there. Sure, there may be a stint of the season where he has to travel exclusively with the Raptors because of something like IQ being out. But don't get it twisted. His team, he's been promised, is the 905, and he's ready to be that guy down there. And I want him to go in the pathway of Fred VanVleet, the greatest undrafted player in the history of the NBA, and go down there and get a G League championship just like Freddie did. And so every way we can mimic the bench mob's path of progress and growing, we want to do that again because we need a nucleus just like Norman, DeLon, Pascal, Fred, and Jakob Poeltl, like 8 years ago, going on at this group of Shamshay, Mogbo, Shed, and Battle and all them. And yeah, these guys are back. Seriously, we got Miles Burns still. We got Kevin O'Banner, and Dylan Disu is going to still be on 905 also. So we have a stacked 905 team that is poised to win a lot of games. And Shed should be running that team because his win percentage at Houston is badass. And in some ways, that's why Shed had a weird look on his face in the opening game because he's not used to L's. He's not used to having any L's in his life. And, winning like he did last night is more often than the case in his life. So, yeah, let's not get this twisted. He's going to see time on both. And honestly, Jamal's probably been promised your show to run on 905 for Drew Jones. And he's probably all about it. That's not a shame. That's not a shame. Guardian Transit saying that Kareem, it was absolutely a blast watching his tape. Yeah, that running back Philly guy was going off, huh? That's awesome. Randolph saying, Lex, this is why the negative folks need to allow the process to be implemented and play out. I hope they don't rush any of the injured players. The guys who are playing are developing well. In some ways, we want to get Emmanuel right, RJ right, but also I want to see these guys out there all healthy together. I'm anxious. And the beginning of the season is tough. So weathering this part, and once again, last night is symptomatic of what I was saying on To The Point last week, that we may steal some games that people didn't think we had any business winning. And last night is a symptom of that. So y'all can go ahead and say, our schedule's so tough, we're not going to win any games. Bullshit. We're going to win games because we're trying to win games, and we're going to steal some, especially if a team's going to come lackadaisical like the Sixers did last night. So, yeah, wrap your head around the ability to succeed, even if it seems like we weren't supposed to. That's right. That's right. And I'm all about it. Yep. I couldn't stop. That's right. I couldn't stop. Nako's saying Pascal is the best player on the Pacers. As someone who liked Halliburton, Pascal needs a lot of help. Pacers Nation, the Pacers girl that covers them is saying that she doesn't like Siakam being the number one player for Indiana, and that he needs to relent to Halliburton in the backcourt. That's interesting. In some ways, these are some of the issues that we have with Siakam in Toronto, whether he should be the guy or not. And well, Indiana's kind of going through this right now. It's too bad that they lost to the Knicks last night. It is what it is. I was rooting for y'all Pacers in MSG last night. That's right. I was rooting for y'all. That's right. Let's see. Neil's saying next. I couldn't stop laughing to run it back Philly. I'm loving that all y'all went and watched them and enjoyed the show. Sue's here, guys. Played Against Sue is a fantastic music reaction YouTube channel run by Sue. Y'all look it up on YouTube. She's awesome. And I watched a bunch of your clips yesterday, Sue. I really, really enjoyed that you did Kajagoogoo and a bunch of other songs that you've done recently. I really do enjoy all over the place that you're doing. The one thing I will say, though, Sue, is I know that you love to do live versions of songs. Sometimes the quality of the songs is but I know why you do it. I sometimes wish you would do more official music videos, honestly, because I know the performances are interesting to see different ways that the song, like the Ace of Spades, Motorhead, but I really want to hear you critique the video and the visuals that you're seeing. In some ways, I really don't like live versions of songs. I feel like the song produced by the producer in the recording studio is the true version of the song. And I wish you would do less live versions. That's just my own personal preference. Do it the way you want. Because in some ways, I want to see you react to the weirdness of some of the videos too. And talking about, whoa, that's weird. What just happened? Especially if you haven't seen the video. That's part of the fun with the reaction channels. But play it again, Sue. Y'all check it out. It's so good. She's saying, what a game. I'm so proud of our boys. We have some dogs this year. Feeling positive about our young guys. Yeah, Sue, I am too. And it's so awesome. So happy to see you in the chat. And we love you, Sue, a day oneer with me. She was one of my top 10 first ever subscriptions. And Sue, I'm at 1,000 now. I got to 1,000. Woo! Yeah. David's saying, Jack sounds like he's lost it. I'm pretty sure he forgot he was commentating half the time. No, Jack Armstrong was okay. I think he was fine. I don't know why you're begging on him. I mean, Jack's Jack, it's like you get what you get. You get what you get, Philadelphia. That's what I'll say about last night from Jack Armstrong. You get what you get. Cowboy saying, Sue in the house. I agree, Kareem. Mogbo is legit. That is true. Nako's saying, Darko developed Desmond Bain. Bain's such a good development story. I hear that. Yeah, big time onions. Jack Armstrong. I love that. Sue saying, love to Cowboy. I love that. Click is here. Pause. I know I said something earlier that wasn't right. Good to see Clicks back in the house. Another original Raptor freak, somebody who's been with this channel on and off for the last 3 years. And there's some love from Cowboy. Wayne saying Fernando has been given an opportunity. And while I think it's undeserved, however, I want him to succeed here. We want to see him put in the work, especially with the younger crew, to solidify the bench. I think he's popular behind the scenes. And let's not get it twisted. The big Angola is busting his ass. You can see him sweating and breathing hard and in there fighting. Once again, that job of power forward center in the NBA is a thankless job with a lot of the effort, and the things that you do in this league are pure brutal physicality. And Bruno Fernando, in some ways, is that Amble is going to take some of the hammer hits in the league for us. Chris Boucher gets hit to the ground. We see it. Bruno Fernando's getting hit too. I'm just saying, and in some ways we need to respect a warrior who's going out there in the Raptors chevron to fight for our side, even if it's not always pretty and he's missing bunnies and he's doing this or that. In some ways we got to understand this man's out there sacrificing his body. He's busting his ass for us, just like Mogbo and Chris Boucher. And in some ways, that's why I'll give him some credit. It's not always pretty. Trust me. He's going to do some Biombo bunny missing. But also at the same time, what is the alternative? And in some ways, we are needing size on our team. We are needing it. We saw that in the first game against Cleveland. It was a really big problem. Well, we had the size advantage last night, and we won. So that's what I'm saying. Getting rid of Fernando is not going in the right direction. We need players like Fernando on this team. Kareem saying Nick Nursing Home. How do you play Lowry, Eric Gordon, and Reggie Jackson, but not give Jeffrey Doughton minutes? Oh, see, this is like something I'm here in Toronto. It's like play Jeff Doughton. Play Jeff Doughton, Knicks. Play Jeff Doughton. Why are you playing Malachi? Play Jeff Doughton. Wow, this sounds like a record we used to play up in Toronto on the radio. Now they're playing it in Philadelphia. That's right. That's right. That's right. Nako's saying off night equals Davion. That's right. Off night is Davion. That's right. Let's see. Cowboys laughing at Kareem. Mischief is here. Good to see the base man. I'm glad Darko played Mogbo and Battle more. I left that in comments section. Barnes and Oshai had a bounce back game. I heard Barnes said Mogbo is better than him before we drafted Mogbo. Yeah, that's just Barnes being not egotistical. Some ways that's him pumping up his guy. In some ways, listen, we got to give Scotty credit for pumping up Jonathan Mogbo's draft value. This man was not on the radar of any of the draft experts like over a year ago. And now all of a sudden he got drafted in the NBA and now he's playing. In some ways, that's a manufactured thing by Scotty putting him on blast. I'm serious. Scotty put him in his Instagram stories. Scotty put him out there a little bit more. And well, he got more recognition. Just like Zach Edey, his draft stock rose as the closer it got to the draft. And all of a sudden they were talking about late first round, early second round, and that's where he ended up. That's not common. A guy from San Francisco could easily go under the radar and not even get on the blip on the radar for the NBA in the draft. And I give a lot of credit to Scott being one of the best hype men for his best friend to get him to where he is right now. Seriously, he said some interesting stuff about him to get him where he is. And that's Scotty just being, kind of modest. Honestly, in some ways, that's him trying to pump up his best friend. But let's not get it twisted. There's no way Jonathan Mogbo is better than Scott. We know this. Come on now. Smooth saying, really impressive win. I agree. It was so awesome. And Sue's saying, hey, Kareem, you were so right. Nick Nurse is doing what he did with the Raps. He gets stubborn and plays the same guys all the time. I think that the bench scoring for Philadelphia last night is significantly the indicator of this. That was a big gripe for us. I mean, look, this is what I'm saying. You have Darko's system of offense and team play and passing with each other. It cultivates more opportunities and success for bench players to come in and contribute and get more bench scoring for our team. No more anemic bench scoring for us. And the Sixers will be fine when Paul George and Joel Embiid come back and them and Maxey are shooting almost all the shots for the Sixers. It won't matter if their bench scores any points because Joel and Maxey will take almost all the shots along with Paul George. So it's an interesting thing. Right now, it may be a real problem without those guys, but we'll have to see if they get healthy. If they get healthy and they come back and show up for Philadelphia, if they're able to carry them as a starting five and they don't need any bench help. We'll have to see. It's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And yeah, the parallels are there. The Nick Nurse has a signature style. Smooth saying Nick Nurse will always be a jackass. I mean, listen, there's some of me that really loves Nick. I love and respect Nick for what he did for our team. I hate the way he exited. It's a very similar thing to Vince Carter in some ways. It's like there's such a beautiful body of work with the Raptors when things and times were good. But then the exit, it's just a bad taste in your mouth. And you just feel like, what the fuck, Nick? What the fuck happened? And why did this happen? And why the fuck are you on the Sixers of all teams in this league? Nick had the chance to be the coach of the Suns. He could have taken the Western Conference job of the Phoenix Suns and be coaching Kevin Durant right now. But he very much on purpose chose the Sixers to coach. He had the choice. He could have coached Milwaukee too. He could have been on the Bucks, but he wanted that division rival. He wanted that grudge match of us versus Sixers and him going switching sides. So in some ways it is what it is. So be it. We go forward this way. And Darko marked one on his side for this season already. That's right. Let's see. Fiercely saying at Kareem, you're right. He played the other rookie from Duke, but not Doughton. This is interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Doughton is, listen, Doughton is very much a pet of Nick Nurse. He loves him. Obviously, he found him and he's still around on their team. He's still on a two-way at this point. Seriously, I don't know how many years you can be on a two-way in the NBA, but Jeffrey Doughton Jr. has been like a career two-way player for 6 years or something like that. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, Jeffrey is cool. I love Jeffrey. I'm a big fan of his. And it's kind of weird to see the bench in one shot over on the Sixers bench. You see Nick sitting next to Bobby Jackson, and then there's Kyle Lowry sitting next to Jeffrey Doughton Jr. It's like, oh, man, that's Raptors history right there. Maybe they should have played Jeff Doughton Jr. last night. If I was a Sixers fan, I may have been crying that out too. That was something I was crying out 2 years ago. Kareem saying, I was critical about Oshai, but I definitely see a difference between now and Summer League. One thing I noticed is that he has a huge knack for spacing and finishing on the fast break. He knows where to be. That's his strength from his Kansas days, is transition finishing, going to the hoop. And yeah, There's a big improvement from Summer League. There was some real worries about Ochai Agbaji from his performance in Summer League. It was bad. It was like rookies look better than him, and him being a third-year player out there in Summer League looking really struggling and failing. All kinds of red flags and worries for this season. But it's not to be. In some ways, Abaji's putting in the work, and I actually think that he has very strong connection with Scotty in some ways. We're seeing that more recently in games. This really is Scotty's team, and he wants to forge the bonds with all the different kinds of players, whether it's Grady, whether it's Chris, whether it's the new rookies that are on our team also. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Nameless is saying, I thought Darko showed a lot of confidence in Battle taking the free throw. There's some behind-the-scenes coaching stuff with that one there, especially with Scotty standing there watching. Well, listen, Battle historically may be one of the best free throw shooters on this team. When you designate who's going to take technicals, when it could be anybody, you want to pick the highest percentage guy on the court. And it could very well be that Battle has the best free throw percentage with the coaching staff of the Raptors in perception. And that makes sense. He's a very good 3-point shooter. Of course, he's going to be good at the free throw line. So, I mean, I had no problem with that. In some ways, that did show a lot of trust to him. I wish he had made it, though. That's the problem. He was 2 for 4 at the free throw line. And I don't think Scott's upset about Jameson getting that chance to step up and do that. He's done that for Scott at times on the court, where Scotty's a designated technical shooter if somebody gets an extra free throw all of a sudden. So I don't think that's a big deal. And Scotty's such a team player in some ways. It's like, that's cool. He's letting Jameson shoot it. That's fine. Fiercely saying, but overall, Nick Nurse wants to win by all means, but doesn't realize how refreshing it is to see rookies flourish and grow. Give them a chance, man. Yeah, he wants a more sure bet. He's very established in his ways, and obviously he's still doing them. As much as we got sick of Casey at a certain point for being so stuck in his ways and inflexible, well, the same thing happens at a certain point with Nick Nurse, where he just gets to a point where this is just who he is, and he can't do anything other than the way he does it. He can't do it. He can't just be anybody himself, is what I'm saying. There you go. Fiercely saying PG went from one colleague doing load management to another one. Yeah. I mean, at a certain point, Paul George can have all the accolades from the players and saying, you're my favorite player, Paul George. I love you. He can be the player's player, but the success on the court has never been there. And honestly, he's getting up there in his age. He's going to be sitting there and feeling father time and being like, man, I thought this was going to be so much better coming to Philly, but now we're 0-2 and we just lost the Raptors. And he looked like his dog died or something on the bench. So, I mean, it is what it is. You get what you get, Paul George. You get what you get. And you and Kawhi's little plan to go to LA, well, how did that work? That's right. Amari saying Raptors hitting on all our rookies, and Jacoby hasn't even played yet. Yeah, the greatness of our front office is once again evident. Jalen McDaniels trade and the draft class that came into this team. We've got 5 rookies, and it does look like all 5 cylinders are hitting. We'll have to find out with Walter, and over time, we'll find out more about Shamshay. Amari, I hope you're having a great Saturday. Always thinking about you, my guy, and giving you strength. And every single day you wake up, my man. My good friend Omari Parsons. Nako saying Dillingham, 80, and Stephon Castle are probably putting out similar production to Shed and Mogbo. Yeah, nobody's looked that good. I've looked at the stats for the rookies, and our guys are in the mix of being like, I think Shed had the most points as a rookie in opening night. Out of the first night, so any players, he was the highest scoring rookie also so far. None of these rookies have shown up or done anything at a high level. None of them, none of the top picks. And meanwhile, Jamal Shed, a middle second round pick, had like some of the best stats out of all the rookie class so far this year. It's very, very cool. Very, very, very cool. Kareem saying Joel Embiid for president. He won't play no games. That's a weird comment. Very, very strange. Let's see. Blackhawks saying Dalton Connect is very good, looking good too. Yeah. In the shadow of Bronny. That's right. Getting dap for Kareem there. And Blackhawks saying also, Joel Embiid looked like Sam the Eagle last night on the bench. Sam the Eagle from Muppets. I mean, it's weird. Like at one point, Drummond came out of the game, and the announce crew saying he's going to go sit by Embiid, but no, he didn't want to sit by Embiid. It's very strange. Do you guys like Andre Drummond's mustache and his look with his hair? I was like thinking, man, he looks like he's a character in a Quentin Tarantino movie. That's what I was thinking, like with Andre Drummond's hairstyle and his facial hair. I was like, man, he looks like he's in a Tarantino movie, like Jackie Brown or some shit. You know what I'm talking about right there. That's right. Nako saying Dalton Connect is a good high floor guy. Yeah, I can see that. And Mari's saying that Kareem Thomas, laugh out loud. Joel Embiid would be a faithful boyfriend. He won't play no games because he don't get in there to play. Yeah, they're already low managing him. He hadn't even played. Nick Nurse already broke him. He broke him in preseason. Nameless is saying that play between Scotty and Mogbo with his bounce pass to Grady cutting back door is etched in my brain forever. Yeah, there's a lot of fun synergy. And, oh, man, there's so much good stuff. There's trust. And in some ways, that's an important thing, whether it's trusting Grady and Jameson to make the three, whether it's trusting the point guards to make very good passes across court to get people when they're open. There's a lot of trust going on with the Raptors team, and that's good. That's a team building, that's cohesion, and that's them together, and that's them playing all for one, one for all. And in some ways, the Sixers are not showing any signs of that on the other side. Not in the least. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, let's see. Dalton dropped in the draft, too. Yeah, he got drafted late, and he's a good player. He had a really good preseason. Kareem saying Joel Embiid is the worst babysitter. He don't play no games. All right, y'all are really playing off this motif. Nameless is saying, can we talk about how Shed put Maxey in a pretzel position last night? I didn't see that exactly. Was there any grappling out there? I didn't see that exactly. All right, let me see. I want to go do another tab thing, so we're making sure we're not missing anything. What do I want to do? I want to do we'll read Jakob Pertl's breakdown of last night's game. 115-107. Heimsig gegen die 76ers Trotz. 26 Ball verlusten, 110 wir das Spiel kontrollieren. Wir waren aggressiv, haben uns Freude getroffen und die Rookies haben einen super Beitrag geleistet. 115-107 home win against the Philadelphia 76ers. Despite committing 26 turnovers, we were able to control the game. We were aggressive. We hit our free throws and got great contributions by our rookies. Jakob Pertl, 19 Toronto Raptors. You go, Jakob. Fantastic stuff. I love it, man. I love reading Jakob's write-up in his language. I'm sorry if I butchered that. If I really sounded bad with that, hey, I'm just trying to do it phonetically. I don't know the right pronunciation. And I don't mean to insult. In some ways, that is very dear homage and appreciation for our big Austrian. That's what it is right there. That's right. Let's see. That's when I wanted to shed my tear. When I watched Shed put Maxey in the figure four leg lock. He took him out the shed and locked the door with the lawnmower. That's right. You go out to the shed tonight, Maxey. We're going to put you in the shed like we're a serial killer. And we're going to chain you to the wall. And that's what happens. You're going to the shed, man. That's the whole motif. You're in the shed, my guy. That's right. And that's the dogged defensiveness of Davion Mitchell and Jamal Shead. And on the down low, DJ Carton is a very pesky defensive player as a point guard. These guys are very much a lot of energy. And like I said, it was a real luxury to have DJ Carton fresh later in the game with Maxey all tired out. And now all of a sudden you got a fresh point guard who's coming at you and trying to stop you and slow you down also. That's a real key. It's a big reason why Tyrese Maxey's shooting percentage was not good last night, is having so many different guys to throw at him all in a row. That was really, really cool. Yeah. Omari's saying Joel Embiid's favorite song is I'm Not a Player by Big Pun. You guys are dumping on him good. Yeah, I would think Joel don't want to come to Toronto and relive his crying past running through the under halls of the Scotiabank Arena. Like, what? Seriously, Joel, isn't there a PTSD when you come to Toronto? Of course, Joel shot around a lot before the game, putting in shots. RJ Barrett was out there putting in shots too before the game, but they did not play. That's right. Nameless is, let's see, alley-oop to Nameless. Yeah, we could probably do that again. You've gotten him twice. You got him already. In some ways, you keep calling the same number. I mean, if it works, John Stockton, keep calling Karl Malone, I guess. 89 to a Nameless on there, the Paisano. Let's see. Blackhawks saying point guard depth of IQ, Davion, Jamal, and DJ can carry us the entire season. I feel like that Jack and Matt are right, that it's refreshing that you got to have guards. They keep saying if you got guards, you're good. And it's something that is very, very new to us. We have not had this kind of depth at guard really in forever. Honestly, I can't even remember when we've had this kind of group that I really feel so good about with so many of them. I can't think of it. I mean, we could go way back and think about TJ Ford, Jose Calderon, point guard battle at that time, and the luxury of having both of them on our team. We could think about Fred and Kyle in that way, but in some ways they're not the same kind of guards because they were such combo guards. These guys are true point guards. In some ways they can revert and be more shooting guard kind of scorers, but that's not really their nature. They really are trying to be out there setting people up. And I like that. That's true point guard. And in some ways, in the time of Allen Iverson and Stephon Marbury coming in this league, making a point guard masquerading as a point guard into a shooting guard, there's been so many coming in the NBA that are point guards, but they're not point guards. And that's the difference. We've got guys that are actually point guards and they're playing point guard like John Stockton or Steve Nash would. And that's the thing I like about this group. And in some ways, Emmanuel's the same way. He can revert to playing straight up point guard, but he's a combo guard too. Let's not get it twisted. But he can play like a point guard also. And he's very much wanting to show the entire league that he is a point guard also. He's not just a guard that can score. So that's very, very, I love the depth, the luxury of that position for the Raptors this year. And I think you're right. They can help us and carry us for most of the season. Smooth saying Nick Nurse and Daryl Morey go way back to their time in Houston. Nurse is involved in personal decisions. He's very much an alpha coach. Yeah, and I have that feeling that he was on our team also. That in some ways, some of the problems with our front office may not have been totally our front office. It could have been like Nick Nurse's wants and values and what they were trying to do to please him as a coach. And who knows? This could be part of the difference in why we're seeing success already under Darko. If they're doing the same stuff with Darko, he may have a very different kind of player type and kind of people that he wants to attract and bring to the Raptors. And if they're working with him and Bobby Webster and Masai, then they're probably shaping our roster to the point where it is like it is now with bigs that can pass like Kelly and Jakob, and then these feisty small point guards. Who knows? Maybe Nick never valued a player like Davion Mitchell being on the Raptors. Well, Darko does. And that could be a very big part of it. I would say also part of the downgrade of the Sixers roster may be because of the input Nick Nurse has put in with Daryl Morey. Exactly. I think that we're right here. Yeah. Alley-oop to Amari. Okay, Cowboys are going to throw the alley-oops and say hi to everybody. You know, I like comments and talking about the game too. 28 for Amari. Yeah, and I really appreciate Amari Parsons, and I really hope that you're continuing to be successful, my guy. I know you are. I know it in my heart. If you need to call me, you call me, my guy. Seriously. Carlos saying, whoever thought of the idea to get a bunch of second rounders should get a medal. That's what I say to Raptors fans. Forget about Cooper Flagg. Forget about trying to get a high draft pick. Let's win as much as possible and just trust that our front office are badasses. They'll draft good players wherever we draft, and we will get good quality. And this draft proves it. Where did we draft? We drafted Jacoby Walter at 19. We still haven't seen what he's going to do, but all the second-round players that we got are all hitting real nice already, whether it's Mogbo, Shed, or even Battle, who just came out of nowhere, and we got him. So that's the thing. Our team doesn't need high draft picks to get better. That's always been proven in the age of Masai. And that's why Raptors fans need to stop talking about tanking, because it doesn't matter where we pick. We got Scotty. That's the most important piece. And that's the piece you need to get from the lottery. But otherwise, you can fill out your whole team with cheaper players. Mogbo gets paid less because he's one draft pick after the first round than he would have if he'd been. That's why that Mogbo pick in that draft, that pick that we got in that trade was so valuable, because you're getting a very good high quality player at a second round price. And that's a great thing right there. And that's our front office and the genius and the flexibility of the values of Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Kareem saying, how do you build your team around two players that are injury prone? I don't know. Ask Daryl Morey. Mari Parsons saying that Joel Embiid is an NPC, a non-player character. That deserves that dunk right there. Andrew saying, morning, folks. Happy game day. If Mogbo plays like this all season, we could see him on all rookie team. Yeah, I don't know if that's true, but maybe. I don't know. Once again, I think because we have so many good rookies and a lot of them are second rounders, the NBA is not probably going to pay attention to them. And they may actually kind of block each other out for consideration, because that happens. Teams can have multiple good players, and it's kind of like, well, I'd like to pick Mogbo, but man, there's Shed too. And maybe there's Walter by the end of the season too. So I don't know. I won't make this prediction about any kind of postseason awards for us until we see more of the season. Really. Andrew, great to see you this morning. Kareem saying, alley-oop to Omari. He's on the heater. All right, we're going to give Omari some more love this morning. Why not? All right, giving him another dunk. We'll put him at 31. You got 31 dunks now, Mr. Parsons. Let's see. Alley-oop to Butt Dial. All right, you guys are just going to get rid of all the balls on the rack very soon. And in some ways, I want y'all to limit the alley-oops. Let's make them more special by meaning for something really important. Kareem has made it to 400, guys. He's at 400 dunks now. That's insane. Yeah, because honestly, I want them to mean more. You guys are kind of too often with the dunks, guys. Too often. I want them to mean more. They got to be for really good reasons. All right, let's see. Blackhawks saying SG of Grady, Jacoby, Garrett, and Battle looks good so far, but we need to see Jacoby. I don't envy Darko. I think he has great problems, seriously. And once again, he said that everybody's got a chance and he's going to let people play on merit. And that may be the most important thing. And that's why Mogbo played over Fernando last night, playing on merit. If you're out there giving energy to the game and doing good things and making great things happen, well, you will continue to play. And that's part of what's happened with Jamison Battle and Jonathan Mogbo. And that's great. I like the shooting guard depth right there. And I think that choosing to keep Jamison is a big part of why that's better. And part of that may have been because of Walter's early injury that we needed Battle to be in there. Yeah, but I like them. I like them both. And I can't wait to see Jacoby. It's going to be very interesting to see what he's all about. Andrew saying, I'm pretty sure it's been proven that not playing back-to-backs doesn't lower your risk of injury. Embiid is going to play half the season. They should pay him half this contract. Ooh, Andrew coming in there with reasoning and sense. Yeah, I mean, that would totally make sense, but it's a guaranteed contract. He's going to get paid for whatever, just to be a big dummy in Philadelphia. The stale Prince of Bel Air. That's what he is. The stale saying Joel Embiid in street clothes and the brand name is Trust the Process. I swear you can't make this shit up. I know. It's like, what is this? And Jack even alluded to this. We talked about this on the channel many, many times. And this is why tank culture is stupid. Tank culture still reverberates throughout the 76ers franchise. They did some really stupid shit in the process of losing on purpose. And in some ways, like Jack Armstrong said during the broadcast last night, it sometimes takes a long time to shake off that kind of culture on your team. And that's why we should never, ever have that philosophy or try and do this, Raptors fans. Seriously, y'all that talk about tanking so casually, like it's fun and it's something that we should do. Just look at the Sixers as a cautionary tale. This is a team that should be competing for championships right now, but there's something wrong. And it may be having to do with institutionalized a culture losing for many, many years to do what they tried to do. And that's why you never want to go down that path. Trust me, it's not even feasible. Adam Silver will punish you if you try and tank on purpose. So don't even try that. And maybe they're still coming around and messing with the Sixers and investigating Joel Embiid for sitting out right now, partly because they set that tone of tanking to get to the process. Nah, losers do that. And we are not losers. And Raptors fans that talk about tanking all the time, you're losers. How about that? That's right. There you go. Embiid is a 7-foot toddler. I like that. That's pretty funny. Name was saying, I was hoping and praying we'd get a little Shamshay action during the end. It was too close, and we couldn't risk it. In some ways, he's 18. You know, I saw a stat yesterday where Aldridge Shamshay is the 15th youngest player to ever play in the NBA in its history. He's the second youngest Raptor ever, behind Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady was the youngest Raptor in the history of the Raptors. Well, Shamshay is second. And in some ways, there's lots of time, and it's just what it is. In some ways, we got to trust our Coach Darko, once again, because he's seeing all the things behind the scenes in practice and where people are and where they're available. We'll learn more about Shamshay from 905 than anywhere else. In fact, we may not see him very much on the main roster this year, guys. And that may be the right move. Seriously, guys, just so you know. In some ways, we need him to grow up. And once again, Darko may have jumped on getting Ulrich Shamshay a year before everybody else. And he may have been in the draft this year coming up and very high pick. But Darko wanted to get ahead and get that spot early, like I do when I start my stream early. And he was putting him for layaway. And this may be very much like the year we drafted Jonas Valanciunas. And he didn't come in his first rookie year. He had to go play his contract out over in Europe. And then he showed up in his second year, Jonas. And in some ways, Shamshay's here. He's getting orientated. He's learning the NBA lifestyle. That may be the most important thing in the whole thing, and not actually getting on the court and playing as much as we would like him to, is what I'd say right there. Yeah, Blackhawks saying small forward can work with RJ, Oshai, Bruce, and run a power forward with Scotty, Boucher, and Kelly. Yeah, I like our depth at each position, and it's showing with you out. Well, Davion and Oshai are there, and they're suitable starters. And it'll be great when we're fully healthy and we can have the full complement of our bench coming in with Kelly and Davion and Chris and Oshai, because those really are our second team. And having them on the second team instead of having to fill in for injured players, well, that makes our bench and everything way better and more talented and more experienced. and that's a great thing. They would say it's such a beautiful sight to see 3 rookies contribute to winning in a major way. This is a symbol of a good team. I can think about old teams like the Lakers in different times where, you have Shaq and Kobe, but then they have 3 rookie projects and they come out, and because there's no pressure, they can excel and do good things. So I really do like the fact that our rookies are contributing immediately right away. And that is something that's like fun in the old history of the NBA. You get new players and your rookies actually are having an X factor or impacting the game. I've been used to the Raptors taking their time with the rookies and putting them on a leash with Nick Nurse and not letting them get out there. And that may be part of what the complaints of the Philadelphia Nation are right now. In some ways, they may be like, why didn't you play McCain more, man? Why are you playing these old guys? It's a nursing home. What is going on here? So I like the fact that the Raptors are getting rookie contributions right off the bat for this season. It is a very, very awesome thing for sure. Yeah, Cowboys saying Shamshe is going to be a 905 monster. I agree. Let's see. Neil is saying a center can be Jakob, Mogbo, Bruno, and Ulrich, and Kelly. Don't forget Kelly Olynyk in there also. Andrew's saying future GOP game player. Hang on, it jumped ahead. Y'all don't fill it up anymore. I really need a cutoff. I'm at 2.5 hours already, and if you guys are still writing comments, I'm never going to get out of here, just so y'all know. So please, no more comments. Really give me a cutoff. I know Mo's not here right now. So, Monique is not here right now. So she would normally do my cutoff for me. And I'm going to need it because I could be here all day talking this shit. I could. All right. Wow. I haven't even came back all the way to where I'm supposed to be yet. Let me make sure I get there. Holy crap, you guys filled it up. Okay, future G League Defensive Player of the Year is what Andrew's saying about Shamshe. Omari's saying the process was actually Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Nerlens Noel, Jahlil Okafor, Michael Carter-Williams, and Markelle Fultz. Like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, you see how much they really got out of that. And that's why that was such a dumb strategy by the Sixers. It really is. You know it, Andrew. All right, I don't even know what that's about. Blackhawk saying, I agree that Bruno should be played, but in short stints. Well, he earns his time. Like, if he's out there playing like Mogbo did last night, well, he's the guy who's getting the minutes over Mogbo. And that's really what it is. It's a merit system. And depending on who's showing up that night with what, some nights he can't come in and just say, yeah, Mogbo, you're going to play most of the game. Well, what if Mogbo comes out there and he's absolutely a green rookie and he looks like what we thought he would look like instead of what he was last night? Well, then Bruno's probably going to have to take those minutes from him. So we need to be flexible and not set any standard rules for how Darko should run his rotation and let him just be it in flux and him kind of going by how he feels and using his assistant coaches to kind of read things and say, yeah, you know what, maybe we should do this and get Battle in earlier. Yeah, that's a good idea, Jama. Let's do that. And boom, there's Jamison Battle in the first quarter, and he's having a huge impact in our game for the day. That's right. Let's see. Kareem saying, sorry, my player of the game is Oshai. It's personal for me. I didn't have high hopes. He's made me a believer. Yeah. He's showing stuff. Oshii-itis will hopefully become a stronger malady. I'm not a virologist, but I'd like to see Oshii-itis claim some more victims. You thought Okafor was going to be nice. Yeah, wrong one. Emeka, maybe. Yeah. Kareem saying, Bruno too short. Dwight Howard, he's a serviceable backup. I don't want Dwight Howard's toxic, crazy ass around our team. No, that man's arrogant. He's got an ego. He's washed up. He's too slow. That man would be playing this league if he's an NBA player still. No, Bruno's not that short. In some ways, Yabusele's too short. I'll say that. And just saying we're a 500 team. That's right. 41 wins. Okay. Nameless saying straight up, I saw enough proof last night to never wear purple again. There you go. Now some of y'all are understanding what I've been trying to say to everybody. I could not stop this purple jersey train. And the 30th season, it's apropos. Of course, let's bring it back. But let's not make it a common color for the good. Seriously. If we come back and rebrand it with purple and red next year, so be it. But I really, really don't want to see such a heavy influence of purple on our team because I really do realize that echoes the other times. And sure, common NBA fan loves seeing the retro jerseys. And they're talking all, oh, I love the fire new jerseys by the Raptors wearing those old jerseys from before. Yeah, because they like nostalgia too. But I don't. I want to see us win, and I want to see us moving the forward into the future and not so hung up on the past and purple. That bugs me. And listen, purple's a nice color. I like it. I don't have anything against it. I just understand its place in the history of the Raptors. And in some ways, we've had our way more successful years in the red jerseys. And that's why people saying they want to get rid of chevrons and red jerseys, those are our best years of our franchise. And that's what I want to carry on, the tradition of that. And we wear the jersey that shows the eras that I want to be in. I don't want to be in those eras. Sure, there was some success in the playoffs in the purple front black bat with Alvin Williams and Vince Carter and Charles Oakley. But still, let's not get it twisted. Overall, the period of purple for the Raptors was a very low winning percentage. Just trust me on this. Trust me on this. That's right. Andrew saying, anyone know when RJ's coming back? Tonight, baby. Let's see him come back tonight. It's not for sure, but I'm going to say it probably is. Blackhawks saying Kyle loves Vince Carter. Also, Vince Carter being a Raptors Hall of Famer is a selling point to rookies. It's a contributing to selling Toronto to athletes. Don't worry about the struggles Vince had with Toronto. Well, I'm starting to smooth it over, and Vince is doing good work. In some ways, him committing to do 8 games of broadcast for the Raptors is a big thing to me. It shows that he is embracing his alumni status with our team and his importance in our franchise. And in some ways, he's acknowledging that he isn't who he is without our team. And that is a big part of smoothing things over between my grudge with Vince Carter and how he left our team in 2004 and how things are going now with celebrating him in the 30th anniversary. So, Vince, you're getting me back, man. You are getting me back. So let's see. Blackhawks saying RJ comes back tonight. I'll bet on it. I think he's coming back too. I think he is. Why would he travel to Minnesota? He could just sit in Toronto if he wanted to. He didn't go on the trip before when there wasn't any chance of him playing in the preseason at the end. So why would he show up for this one? That's what I'm saying. Cowboys saying, let's go, Captain Canada. 2 Southpaws going to play tonight. Yeah, the 2 Southpaws. Do you guys know who the 2 Southpaws are? They're RJ Barrett and DJ Carton. DJ Carton's actually a southpaw also, guys. Andrew saying Paul George realized he left an injury-prone team to join an injury-prone team. That's why he looked so sad and morose on the bench. Yeah, he did look. He can't hide his emotions. There's no poker face there. That's right. That's right. And Blackhawks laughing, Cowboys laughing. G saying Bruno needs to get out there to rebound and foul, make it difficult for them. I don't have offensive expectations. He can be specifically used for now. He may develop in other ways over time too. Yeah, he's got experience. That's the thing we got to remember. He's got years under his belt, so it's not his first trip to the beach. He's coming in and he's got experience, and that is valuable in this situation with a young team. In some ways, we need that experience. Mitch is saying, did you guys see Battle drop that desperation 3-pointer in the 4th? I couldn't believe he made it. That's just the testament to his hard work and belief in himself. That was a beautiful shot. In some ways, that was a Hail Mary. And yeah, it was awesome. Right at the end of the shot clock, and the crowd popped. The fans that went to that game last night, kudos to you. Because in some ways, after the opening night, and I'm worried about this. This season, we could be losing a lot, and our attendance may look bad. And I don't want the guys to get depressed walking into games from shoot around, and they don't see anybody in the arena. Because there may be a difference to people like Chris Boucher and Scotty Barnes and seeing like, oh, wow, the fans aren't here like they would normally. Like this is not them showing up early and having most of the bowl filled at the beginning of the game. So I would say, listen, I may not be going to many games right now, but I will be at some point this season. Trust me. But I want everybody to go down there and support them. Buy the tickets, go down there, get there early, and get loud. And I love hearing Let's Go Raptors chants and defense chants in these games. We can have a factor in this. But in some ways, I know our crowd's going to be half-assed this year because people are not that enthusiastic about the team. They know that it's probably a rebuilding team and a lot of losses are coming. So people that go down there and show the spirit, the Raptor Freak way, I have so much pride and appreciation for you. So continue to do that. And if you're going to go to a Raptors game, try and get there early. I know part of the reason why it looked so empty when they came out was because they switched the start time from 7:30 to 7 on us all of a sudden. But that was really because they had to go to Minnesota today. So that is part of the reason why it looks so empty at times. And yeah, I don't want us to look like we're not having good attendance this year just because we're in a rebuild. And I hope people will go down there and get there and be active and be loud. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Let's see. Nameless is saying even DJ played with incredible tenacity. I don't think people are talking enough about him. I'm trying to. I have a lot of confidence in DJ Carton, and I'm glad he's on our team. Wow, you're deleting comments every which way, David. Should I take your wrench away from you? Stargate saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. 2 words, Jonathan Mogbo. If you look up potential in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of Mogbo, and big up my boy Off Night. There you go. is two of his stars of the game right there. You know what? Let's go ahead and get the Instagram stories out of the way before I forget. Once again, Smith and Jones have Bibe Nagira on their show this week. Check out their episode. I am a big fan of both Paul Jones and Eric Smith, and I will promote their show on my channel because Eric Smith is a friend of the channel. He appreciated our Share the Love Club for him recently. And Eric, I appreciate what you and Paul Jones do as bona fide media members. I'm just a fan running a fan channel, but you guys are the real deal reporters, and you guys do such a good job. So I'm going to put you on blast. Also, Eric's putting on blast Fisherman's Friends, y'all. He's got them in the broadcast booth. He's got them in his mouth while he's calling. I don't know if that's professional. Hopefully you don't sound like you got something in your mouth while you're calling it. DJ Carton putting on blast the win last night on his Instagram stories, and very, very good stuff. He didn't score, but he was very key. And that little drop-off pass to Mogbo down low, woo, that's so good. Amari Moore celebrating the Dodgers' victory over the Yankees in the World Series last night. I love it. I'm so happy to see Ohtani and the Dodgers get game one of the World Series over stupid-ass Bronx Bombers, New York Yankees. That's right. Let's go, Dodgers. Lex is officially on your side for this one. That's right. Davion Mitchell coming in the game. Last game, it was Muhammad Ali on his sweater coming into the media day pictures. Well, last night, he's wearing Frederick Douglass on his shirt. And so he's given all kinds of great leaders from the history of time on blast on his outfits. And there he is putting on blast the win, 115-107 for the Raptors. Scotty Barnes with a picture of him and his 5'6" teammate from the West Palm Beach, them boys from Florida, getting that after-game interview with Kayla Gray. That's so beautiful and awesome. Those are my guys. I have Florida pride with these dudes. Being a kid who grew up in Tallahassee, in some ways, being a Florida State Seminole like Scotty, and being a kid who grew up in Florida like these guys, I have a connection to them because I understand what up in the Sunshine State. Even if it's North Florida, I got a little for Clemp. Watching my guys in the after interview after we beat Nick Nurse and Kyle Lowry. That's right, baby. We beat Nick. That's right. Yeah. All right. Shamshay putting on blast the win last night. Grady Dick showing off his 1 3-pointer where Mogbo threw it back out to him and he threw it in stride, threw that 3-ball right through the hoop. And they knew it was going in. Jacoby Walter already had his hands up before Grady released the shot. Manuel quickly celebrating his teammates winning the game last night. Jamison Battles celebrating the game last night. Chris Boucher saying how ninjas who swear they don't go to parties be like as soon as they get there. That's funny. He's dancing and doing stuff. The Boucher block, oh my gosh, on Eric Gordon was such a big-time block. It was like, no, 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 and it was so good. And Chris has got it on his Instagram stories, reliving that awesomeness. And then he's also got on blast in the back, Darko's speech, yelling and saying, let's fucking go. And Darko recognizing Chris and then giving the chain to Scotty, the 30th anniversary chain that spins still. Scotty, of course, doing the when he got it, posing. Jonathan Mogbo with some great passes from DJ Carton, appreciating his point guard, finding him in different places. There was a connection between Mogbo and Carton last night. So Carton was getting some of his assists off of J-Mo, and that was fantastic. Jonathan also putting on blast Brian Macon's picture of the two West Palm Beach brothers coming off the court. I'm sure Brian Macon is a proud trainer looking at Scotty and Jonathan because I know he works with both of them. And this is a much better outcome than the first game, Brian. And I hope that, you had a face that looked like you were smelling shit on the game against Cleveland on Wednesday. Well, I hope you were smiling and more jovial during this game, sitting at the baseline. Of course, if you want to see Brian during the game, he's sitting where Fred's family used to sit, where Shantae and Sue Danforth used to sit underneath the basket. So you can see Scotty's trainer sitting there in the first two games. So if you were trying to find him and where's Brian Macon, you can find him there. Yeah, Mogbo, all kinds of plays showing off some of the connection him and Carton had in the second half. Fantastic stat line, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. Stat stuff in it. And even Lloyd is showing Yesurski for Jay Nathan on his Instagram stories. Very, very cool. Wubbs has got really cool pictures of him with his chain and also with his hair. He's celebrating his teammates' win. There he is with his fit, coming in with his little pink bag and his purple hoodie and his glasses. There's Dylan Disu, and he's downtown near the aquarium and the CN Tower on Blue Jays, over near the Blue Jays arena. So we know Disu's in town, and maybe they're getting ready for 905 stuff to start the training camp. That would be very, very good. There's the Raptor in the community with the little ballers before the game. getting hyped for the game. Of course, Little Ballers are one of the great halftime performances for the Raptors at Scotiabank Arena. Very, very hyped game. And there's Raptor with a fan and he's having his first game ever. That's very, very cool to see. Also, we got WNBA Toronto president Teresa Resch talking about how the WNBA has surpassed the NBA's 2023-24 social media engagement. So that's interesting. They're saying the WNBA was engaged with more on social media this year than the NBA. I find that hard to believe, but maybe it is true. There's a lot of people talking about it. They're going over all the names that were cut from the floor for the WNBA team that were dinosaur related. And once again, they're using AI in the art, and we don't like that. Teresa, don't use AI for our team. Toronto Pterodactyls ain't happening. Toronto Terror ain't happening. Toronto Brontos is not happening. Toronto Triceratops, which is one that I liked, is not happening. And Toronto Raptorettes is not happening. Rejected names for a WNBA team right there. Yeah, the Raptors official, all kinds of fun stuff on there with highlights from before the game and during the game. Akil's 3 keys to the game. Very, very cool stuff. Raptors official admin, you guys have been on fire this season and doing a great, great job with your all over the place. SGA saying my favorite player playing hoops tonight, and it is SGA. That's right. Let's see. Kyle Lowry has some fun stuff too going on his Instagram. There he is getting interviewed before the game. And, he's always going to love Toronto. He's always going to have a special place. This building means so much to him. And he has it there as home with the Canadian flag over it. So I don't know. Maybe Lowry's not totally happy on the Sixers right now, even though he's on his hometown team and he's with his favorite coach, Nick Nurse. Maybe there's trouble in paradise. Maybe the personalities on the team don't fit. And Paul George may have been that piece that just got added and has just blown everything up. Because I'm telling you, I'm reading body language, I'm reading faces, and I don't think the Sixers like each other. I'm going to say that right now, at least from what I saw last night. We know that's not the right recipe for success. No, it ain't. No, it is not. If these guys ain't liking each other, that's what I'm saying. All right, there's your Instagram stories for today. Yeah, very interesting. I have 15 more minutes. I better get done. Yikes. Cowboy say, y'all go through and audit your comments. And if it's just junk comments, like just bullshit, go ahead and delete them before I get to them because I have a long way to go still. And it's only 15 minutes. So make sure it's something that hasn't been repeated. It's not just a garbage comment like, yeah, or whatever. Let's leave the meaty comments for the rest of the stream so I can get to your very good points that are very good and valid to talk about because I have a long way to go still. And I'm almost at 3 hours already, guys. So Cowboy's saying, everyone check out my brother from another mother, Oh Gary TV, live every game. Okay, you can do that plug. It's his stepbrother does live streams during the game, just so y'all know. Let's see. Blackhawks saying that 3 was sweet. And Kareem saying, every time Chris Boucher hits the floor, it feels like a crash test dummy. Big collision, but never breaks a bone. That's one of the great things about so skinny and lithe. And in some ways, you don't have as much meat, but also in some ways, you can redistribute your balance and your way you hit the floor better. And it's not so sharp hitting one spot. If Chris goes flat as a board when he's falling, he's going to take more of the brunt in a long part of him than just one little part of him. And sometimes a big fat man can fall and hit one part, and all that weight hits that part. They get injured more. But if you're skinny, light as a feather, well, in some ways you can fall in better ways and be safer. That just makes sense, right? Doesn't that make sense? Let's see. Blackhawks saying, Run It Back Philly is live streaming right now. They're funny as hell. They're saying the Raptors G League team destroyed them. They're hilarious. I love that. That's awesome. Stargate saying the free throw shooting was the difference. If the Raptors make their free throws like they did, they're good. Yeah, that's one thing that a young team usually has to struggle with to learn. Wow, we should have shot free throws better and we would have won this game. Well, they took care of that aspect, and that's fantastic. In some ways, that speaks to the professionalism of this team and caring. Whether it's Jakob very strongly trying to get better at free throws, taking it in a professional way, whether it's the young aptitude of our rookies that are coming in complete professionals already, know the value of free throws, and they're not knuckleheads coming in here, I got to learn free throws are important to win a game. I think that's what the symptom is there. Now, the thing they need to tighten up the most is the turnovers, and that's the other sign of a young team not doing very well. 27 turnovers right there. Yeah. Andrew's saying Mogbo rebounds like a vet. Yeah, I like how he's just a shit disturber. He's getting in there and he's mixing it up. And having his best friend out there with his back makes him a little more daring to get in there and mix it up. I'm telling you, the factor that Scotty's around is part of what's buoying up Jonathan to be so good right away. Very, very good. Very, very good. Yeah. All right, let's see what else we're saying. Nameless is saying, I just want to give myself a pat on the back and say that I called a much better performance after opening night. It was too much, too soon for that kind of pressure on this squad full of youngsters. Yeah. I mean, Nick knew it himself. After the game, he said he knew Scotty was going to bounce back after a really bad opening night, and he was bracing for it already. If he knew from coaching Scott from before, Scotty got one game that's bad, he's going to come back and have a big game afterwards. That's just the pattern with him. And that's why we can kind of predict this in certain ways. Trevor's saying, I love how Jamal Shed had Maxey give up the basketball on the line. Yeah. Yeah, in some ways, Maxey probably saw a whole different energy from the Raptors, and he may have been able to operate against us in past years and do whatever the fuck he wants. That's not the case anymore. There's a shed in the backyard, and you got to get in it, Tyrese. I'm sorry. You got to get in. We're opening the door. You get in there, and Shed's locking you up. That's right. You got to get in the shed, Tyrese. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. Sounds like a psycho thing here. Kareem saying, we might have to forfeit the 905. All these guys deserve minutes on the big squad. No, fuck that. No, we do this the right steps. Y'all are trying to skip steps once again. They need to win a G League championship because the G League championship is the wave coming up to get a regular championship in the NBA. That's the same pattern that we used before with Fred. We need to do it again with Jamal. And that's just the damn truth. Shed Van Vliet, we want him to be Shed Van Vliet. Well, he needs to go the way that Van Vliet went. And that's through a G League championship and starting at that level and bringing it up to the big level later. Y'all are getting too ahead of yourselves. This is one game. This is the bipolar overreacting in the positive way. In some ways, we got to take the wins and the losses with measured expectations and enthusiasm. You can't just think because this happened, Shed is excluded from 905. Y'all got to stop saying this shit. He needs to go there and run his own show. Once again, that's right. Kareem saying, Darko looking at the bench saying, you get minutes, you get minutes, you get minutes. Oprah Winfrey voice. Yeah. 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 I mean, in some ways, it's great to have different options. And whoever's playing well, you go get it. David saying, oh my God, fuck my life. The phone was in my pocket and I came top computer and decided to delete these messages. I'm sorry, everyone. Totally my fault. Fuck me. Yeah, you're losing your wrench right now. How about that, David? You're losing your wrench right now. You deleted Stargate and Blackhawks comments, and you have lost your wrench until the next trivia. Let's see. Andrew saying, fire Doc Rivers, trade Ben Simmons, trade Tobias Harris. Who's next to get the blame? Nick Nurse right now is what it looks like. Kareem saying these two games are a small sample size of what's to come. Buckle up. It's going to be a roller coaster season. That's right. And don't be surprised if we steal games against opponents that you didn't think we were going to beat. Because a lot of people didn't think we were going to beat Nick Nurse last night. That's right. David saying, oh my fucking God, there's so many. I'm so sorry. What a fuck up. It is what it is, David. I don't know how you did it, but in some ways, pocket dial, you just did a butt dial, my guy. Name is saying Drummond is a dirty motherfucker. I noticed. I didn't like the way he fell on Jakob's back. Drummond is a very large man, and he could have hurt Jakob badly with the way he had his whole entire body over him, the way he fell over him. That was a very scary moment for me. Thank God Yak is strong as a yak, because honestly, you don't want a dude the size of Andre Drummond coming down on your back and bend you over like that. That was such a scary play in some ways. We can't afford to have people get hurt. And man, Andre scared the shit out of me when he jumped on the back of Jakob like he did at that one point. That was really bad. Kareem saying, David, you're forgiven. You're now the butt dialer. You know what? We'll just do this. If somebody does something like this, you get the moniker. Now, Kareem has passed the role or the name to you, David. You are now butt dial. Kareem is not it anymore. It's like he passed it off to you. You got it now. It's like, all right, you got the role. He's the official butt dialer champion. And Kareem, you are absolved of it at this point. Don't stress it, David. It's all good. Just as you said to me, I didn't fail on the fantasy league, David. You did not fail in doing this. I still read all the comments. I just unblocked them. That's all. I hope these guys aren't blocked from the channel because of what you did either. Yeah. And David saying, what a fucking train wreck. I timed out Blackhawk for 3 minutes. I deleted like a dozen messages. I'm a moron. No, you're not. You're a butt dialer. And you get that moniker now. And speaking on that, we're at 10:50 on the chat. We'll do the classic card right now. Holy crap, y'all filled it up. Holy crap, y'all filled it up. We better make sure we do this. I don't want to forget to do the classic card. All right, that's a good classic card. Let's do this. All right, first person to write in the full name, and don't half-ass me, and don't butt dial me either. You'll get the classic card points. Which player is this? This is pretty classic. Look at that Miami Heat logo. That's pretty old school looking. And that jersey's pretty old school looking. Who knows who this classic card is? It says guard in the corner. That's another good little tip. You can't see the number, so you can't go Google them or anything. Who knows who this classic card of the day is? You get the fantasy you get the trivia points added to your Raptor Freak trivia score, and you can get the championship at the end of the season if you have the most points. Who knows who this player is from Classic Card? Is Smooth Brown Man here? We may need Ahmad Rashad because this is an old school player. Tim Hardaway Sr. That is the era, Mike. The Logical Raptors Fanatic, Project Truth. Good to see you, my guy. That is the era, but that's not right. You're going to say Buddy Hield, but that's way older. Yeah, this is way, way, way before Buddy Hield. You want a hint, Nako? I don't know if my hints would help you. To give you hints on the names. I want one more guess, 3 guesses, and then I'll give you a clue. That's usually how I do it. If I get 3 good guesses, Tim Hardaway Sr., Buddy Hield, really not good ones. Tim Hardaway Sr. is the best one, although Tim Hardaway Sr. never had no hair. So that's kind of not a good guess, but it is around the right era. So that would make sense. This guy, I think he did play with Tim Hardaway Sr. in that era. But yeah, all right, Keith Askins. Okay, that's the next guess. All right, I'll say this. His last name is a famous bookstore chain in Canada. A famous bookstore chain in Canada. And in fact, we made light of this bookstore on this channel, I think, in recent months. I don't remember exactly when. We mentioned it. It had a location at the Eaton Center. And young Lex went there and bought wrestling books from that bookstore. If you can think of the last name of the player is that store, just so you know. So I don't know if that helps anybody. You're saying Nathan Cole. That's not right, but the last name's almost right, but you're still not getting it right. It's not Nathan Cole. Buddy Coles? No, it's not Buddy Coles. Amari knows that it's Bimbo Coles. That's right. Bimbo Coles is the player, a classic card of the day. I love it that Amari got it from my clue. And yeah, he remembers Bimbo Coles of Virginia Tech. And this is actually his rookie year, Bimbo Coles. I think his real name is Vernell. His real name is Vernell Bimbo Coles. That's right. There it is right there. Vernell Ufay Coles. That's right. Bimbo Coles, the classic card of the day. That's pretty tough. David, if you're still here, you want to give points, give 200 points to my friend Omari Parsons for the classic card of the day. Yeah, 200 points. Let me see if David's in there in the spreadsheet real quick. Yeah, he's there. All right. So yeah, it's Bimbo Coles. I'll put that in for you, Dave. And yeah, please give him 200 points. That's tough. That's Omari that got it, David, just so you know. All right, let's go back up to where we were in the chat, and we're going to try and run through these comments as quick. If I do 4 hours, whatever. It's a preview and a reaction stream is a lot to talk about. So whatever, we're going to get through. But yeah, if you guys can help me out and go ahead and delete comments that you don't think are necessary for me to say at this point, that would be helpful to get me out of here sooner, since I am at 3 hours now, and I usually only do 2 hours, guys. I usually only do 2 hours. That's right. Fiercely saying, speaking of Atlanta, I know DeJounte Murray is now with the Pelicans, but I saw he got a hand injury yesterday. First game with them, maybe out 5 to 6 weeks. Yeah, it's a fracture to his hand. Yeah, in some ways, I was like, it is what it is. I'm not. I think that's hilarious. David's saying, I'm never logging in on my phone again. That's insane. It's all good, David. Don't take it too hard, man. You do so much for this channel. I appreciate you, man. Michael Anthony's here. Good to see the bassist of Van Halen has returned once again. Mogbo is what he has to say. And that's a very strong thing to say. Andrew's saying Scotty didn't even have an overwhelming game. He kind of sleptwalked into 27. I love to see it. I love that he didn't rely on threes at all. And they did a lot of it at the free throw line. And that's awesome. And Tony Brothers was doing pretty good. And also there was a little bit of what we've been talking about this week with Scotty and the refs and not gesticulating and arguing with them. There were times where he freaked out and yelled at them, but there were also times where he shut up and just kept playing. And I think that in some ways, like I said, with a referee like Tony Brothers, you got to finesse things a little bit and really kind of work really hard. Obviously, the Raptors outworked the Sixers last night, and Tony Brothers' crew was looking out for us partly because of that. That's why I say Tony Brothers' MO is to reward the team that works the hardest. So if you work the hardest when Tony Brothers is there, he will reward you with trips to the stripe. Now, I don't understand why the refs called so many fucking fouls last night. It was crazy how many free throws were shot in the game last night. It was absolutely crazy. G saying, I did this once when I had a wrench. I was holding the phone while holding a plate and almost dropped the plate. So my fingers went all over the phone to stop the plate from dropping. It was chaos. Yeah, it's something that's happened. It's something that's happened. I think that almost every single person who's had a wrench, Isaac Campbell butt dialed a bunch of deleted messages at one point too. This happened, David. So don't worry about it. In some ways, I should have took your wrench away after Tuesday. You shouldn't have just been having it already still. And that's just how it is. It's all good. Kareem saying, trust me, David, I spent a lot of money on involuntary memberships. That's right. Kareem butt dialed a bunch of memberships to this channel. And thank you, Kareem. So benevolent. It was so awesome. I couldn't believe that. It was hilarious. He's like, I'm so sorry, Lex Rap Freaks. This is no good. It's all good. Listen, David, you're good, man. You are good, man. Thanks for putting up with my orneriness and craziness recently, too. And tell your brother I apologize, too. A minus 100 points to David, Andrew? I don't know. I don't want to do that to him. He's not in the trivia scores, so I can't do that to him. He's the commissioner. And Nako saying Atlanta might have hit on Kongwu, Jalen Johnson, and Dyson, so they could have gotten better. I don't think they got better. No. Atlanta's just spinning their wheels. As long as their team is centered around Trae Young, they're not better, bro. They're just spinning their wheels. David said, I missed the ball completely and turned it over and lost the game. No, you didn't, David. You're fine. Fiercey's laughing at David. Andrew saying, oh, good, David. Bounce back game. That's right. Just like the Raps. That's right. Andrew saying, Hawks fans were really saying Jalen Johnson's better than Scotty. Yeah, they're crazy. Fiercey saying, Lex, it's not about the quantity, but the quality. Raptor Freak channel. You know what? Listen, I have a lot of quantity on this channel. That's part of it. And some people say there's no quality on Lex's channel. He's just quantity. Like he's on for 3 hours and he's every day. In some ways, I get it. Yeah, I like that you think that there's quality here within all the time I spend here. So I appreciate that. I do. Andrew saying, man, who the fuck let Trae get 8 rebounds last night? That's crazy. Trae Young got 8 rebounds last night. That's weird. Fiercely saying, Andrew, the Hawks fans are delusional. Laugh out loud. Yeah, about Jalen Johnson for sure. Michael Anthony saying, Mogbo had some insane stats last night for sure. Yeah, I like him, Michael. He's looking like a really nice surprise. Duke Rocks is here. Jason Duke. Our original Raptor Freak fantasy NBA champion. They're panicking in Philly Nation, wondering how a G League team beat them. They are now expecting to go 0-3 with Indy on Sunday. Yeah, go get him, Pascal. Go say hi to Nick Nurse and ask him if he's still playing piano with his life. Yeah, go get him, Siakam. I want to see them go down 0-3. Why not? Let's hit the panic button early in Philadelphia this season. Why not? This is awesome. And we had a part in it. That's right. Fiercely saying it, Andrew. They were playing the Hornets and LaMelo. No surprise there. Okay, yeah. Trae Young getting 8 rebounds against the Hornets. That makes more sense. I mean, who is their starting center? It's like Mark Williams or something like that. Yeah, that makes more sense. And Michael Anthony saying Jamison Battle at 57% free three-point shooting. Yeah. The dude's a shooter. I really like him. Andrew saying, yeah, but how did Trae get the most rebounds on his team? He even got more than Capella. That's wild. That is very strange. That is very, very strange. Cool Cat saying, yes, Lex, it was very nice to see the brotherly connection between Scotty and Mogbo. Scotty shouted out Mogbo's family members. Yeah, it's weird. Like Scotty almost said he's like, he kind of in the after interview was kind of like saying, well, I'm proud of myself. But he meant he's proud of his friend, Jonathan. And yeah, it was really, really sweet moment. And in some ways, we didn't expect Mogbo to get an after-game interview. He got the halftime interview and the after-game interview. And that's very, very cool. All right, David is gifted 10 memberships in penance for his mistake today. And we see that Starscream is here watching us. Nets fan, we love you. Nets freak, thank you for being here. Ahmed Gaming is here watching, lurking in the background. Our current Raptor Freak trivia champion. Ahmed, I hope you're safe and everything's good for you. Chris Bernard, thank you for coming to the channel and watching. You are now a member of the channel thanks to our friend David Saborin. Firebolt is here. Carla, I hope you're having a great day. In the Maritimes, our East Coaster is here watching. The Watcher is watching. I hope that you tell Galactus good things when you go back to him. Jimmy Pope, the Pope of Positivity, is here. My guy Imran is here. Nice to see Imran here. G-Man is here. PK, Lucky Shits. Very, very cool 10-person lineup. You got the full roster today, David, making penance for your butt dialing. All right. Well, good to see so many different names. I hope y'all will stick around and chat some. Fill it up with me, please. David saying, doesn't seem fair that Kareem always buys butt dial memberships and I just delete messages. Well, I appreciate, David, the support of the channel. You have been #1 supporter. You and Trevor are top-notch, grade A, premium, top supporters of this channel. And I appreciate you guys and the things you do to help me out and support me, seriously. And this is a big deal. W to David for sure. G saying St. David came through with the win in the end. That's right. Wow. King David for the win. Exactly. And it's great to see so many memberships. David, I might have to give you access like Tom had. And would you want to do the little heads that Tom used to do? Because it might be fun for you. And especially since you just put so many memberships, we opened up some more openings where we can have fun little heads in there. I'll probably investigate it a bit, but maybe I need a new moderator that will do what Tom Duke used to do and take care of the emoticons Who will be the new emoticon giant? Is there any Raptor freak that's interested in being the emoticon giant for this channel and being a moderator and also a contributing producer for my channel? Please let me know if you are. Of course, I'd rather do it with trusted people that are here every day that won't run out on me like Tommy did. So yeah, if you want to add that to your list, or even Trevor J or some of the other regular Raptor freaks, I will give this new duty to somebody else since Tom's not doing it anymore. Because we did just unlock a bunch more emoticons because you just put in 10 memberships. So let's see. Kareem's saying, wow, King David for the win. Yeah, I love it. David's just a fourth quarter player. That's right. W. David from Isaac. Yes, for sure. Andrew's saying, we beat the city of brother by using the brotherly love of Mogbo and Barnes. That's funny. I agree with you, Cowboy. That is definitely a dunk for Andrew on that one. We beat brotherly love by using brotherly love. That's why Andrew is the Raptor Freak Rookie of the Year, guys. His witty jokes like this and astute observations. Thank you, Andrew, for that joke. That was hilarious. That's so good. Yeah, Cowboy, you're awesome. Later, Raptor Freak. Let's go, Raptors. I love you, Cowboy. You have a great weekend, Bradley. G saying Barnes and Mobo. That's right. I love it. There's Tractor Man. Let's go. Andrew saying Nick Nurse is an all-star merchant. Shamshay, future Raptors all-star for sure, Cowboy. Andrew saying the next Giannis. Nah, the first all-rish. I think that's true. That's right. A Rely on Masai. Fiercely saying, has Raptors 905 season started? No, it won't start until November. It will start in November. And don't worry, we'll be covering it on here. And I'll be doing all the previews for their games also and reacting to their games too. Because I do double duty when 905 is going. I will watch their games as closely as I can, as long as they're not playing the same time as the Raptors. Andrew's saying DJ is really good at changing speeds. Yes. And he's really good floor general. In some ways, I don't care if DJ Carton never ever tries to score. He can be out there doing really good things. Now, see, the thing is, he does have the ability to hit threes and attack the rim. But in some ways, just the threat of him doing it is enough from the star from Marquette. So DJ Carton, you've got a big fan in me right now. And you didn't even score a point last night. That's amazing. See, casuals may not see what we see. They may be like, oh, DJ Carton, he's washed. He didn't even score. No, you need to pay attention. Young basketball fans that don't understand basketball. DJ Carton did a big thing for us last night. That's right. And just saying that he thinks the first 905 game is November the 9th. And I think that's right. Fiercely saying, I would say Doughton has slower pace than our point guards. Flynn was fast, but focused on shooting rather than playmaking and passing. Yeah. Well, he wasn't focused on anything but bricking shots, honestly, is what it looked like. Thank you. Stargate saying, even at the very, very early stage, Jonathan still has a higher basketball IQ than Precious. When Mobo reaches the tenure Precious is at now, they won't even be comparable. I still think they're very different players. You know, Precious was a blue chip Division I player that was touted and looked at for a long, long time. Mobo's coming from out of nowhere. And in some ways, he may not have the ceiling that Precious has. I know y'all think he does, but I don't know if that's exactly right. I still think that Precious Achua in the end will end up being a better player than Mobo. I know, God forbid, Lex going against the Raptors, but this is just my own damn opinion. I think that you guys are forgetting exactly how good Precious is on defense and also just how strong he is. Mobo's not as strong as Precious. In some ways, he's doing it with hustle. Maybe a little bit more hustle than Precious, and that may be why y'all like him more. Wayne saying our bench is showing energy, but most importantly is finishing. There's still growing pains with scoring. Let's watch for growth in specific areas in order to start really getting cocky. We beat the Lakers. That'd be awesome. I think we could beat the Lakers. Seriously, if we outwork them and out hustle a lazy ass LeBron and what they're trying to, I think we could beat the Clippers too. I think the Clippers are in big trouble without Kawhi, and their team is going to be a little weird this year. Blackhawks saying DJ is the number one point guard for the 905. You think so? I don't think so. I think Shed is. I think Shed will be, and it could very well be they start together as the backcourt. It could very well be Jamal Shed and DJ Carton are the two starting backcourt for the 905. We'll have to see. Stargate saying Mobo seems like he may be a really good free throw shooter. Yeah. Yeah, I think that all the rookies are showing a real patience and dedication to taking their time on free throws and making them. And that starts all the way from Scotty and Jakob all the way down. Jakob's really struggled, and he's showing that dedication to getting better. And Scotty does really tune in, and you can tell kind of it's a tell whether Scotty's off. If Scotty's missing free throws, that means he's not concentrating. His head's not in the game. When he's in the game, he's locked in. He's nailing those free throws real easy. So that's kind of a telltale sign of where Scotty is with his mental engagement in the game. If he's shooting really bad free throws, that's a bad sign. Let's just put it that way. Blackhawks saying there's no bad stomach to the 905. Shed is just further along than expected. That's why he needs to go down there and absolutely dominate that league also. And let's not get it twisted. This has been the plan all along. Every rookie should go down there, especially second rounders, Maybe Jacoby doesn't have to go to 905. That may be possible. But I would like him to go there too, honestly. In some ways, he may need to go down there to rehab before he's ready. If he doesn't come back before 905 season starts, he might need to go to 905 and do a rehab assignment, one game down there, and just test out the waters. Blackhawks saying stigma, not stomach. Damn, spell checker. Oh, that's what I mean. Well, there is a stigma to G League. The G League is not as illustrious. And I'm sick of people getting all wound up about it, whether it's fans or players on our team. There's been certain players that are like very adamant they never want to go to 905. I hate that. In some ways, that's not the kind of player I want on my team. You need to be willing to do whatever it takes to get better for your team. And if your team asks you to go to the G League, you need to go there. Bronny James. Bronny. Mike saying Boucher is back and people wanted to dump him. Yeah, I didn't want to dump him. I've never said that myself. I value Canadians on our team, and Chris Boucher is my guy. Cowboys saying maybe the first meet and greet should be at the 905 game, first game. That's not a horrible idea, honestly, Cowboy. I don't know if I'll be ready at that point, but maybe. I mean, we need some time to get this organized. In some ways, I'm not against this. If people can get to the 905 game and all meet up together, let's go to one of those games. I'm all about that, Cowboy. That could be a lot of fun. Isaac saying, what is in the box? Holding absolutely nothing. What's in the box? Which box? What are you talking about? What box? What are you talking about? I don't even understand what is that allusion to? I don't know. Is this something like half can, half amazing? Isaac, I'm confused. Neil saying, I still take a trade for Boucher. He still falls down, but I acknowledge his energy is right. Yeah, I don't know. Once again, you guys that talk about getting rid of players like Bruno and stuff, I hate this shit. Just stop. Shop. Trevor saying, my friend was trolling Run It Back Philly last night. I was laughing my head off. They were mad. That's awesome, man. I love that, Trevor. Duke Rocks is saying studio versus live. I prefer live most of the time because it proved to me the musician stuff is legit and versus overdub in the studio. Rush's greatest live band ever. Yeah. I mean, I'm just talking from my own personal preference. Like when I would do my video project, I was only watching music videos. And, you know, I know Sue loves the live versions, and that's part of the reason why she does them. And they're different. And it maybe also it helps her with the copyright a little bit. Because when you do a music reaction channel, you got to watch out for YouTube giving you strikes. And it could very well be that live videos go under the radar more than official videos. It's just my own selfish preference. I remember in the past when Play It Again Sue has covered videos and they're weird. And like her and Chelsea are talking about how weird that was. And like that in some ways, I like that aspect. I know that she likes to break down the music and give fun facts and stuff, but I also like the very raw reaction to the visuals of the artist's choice with the video. And that's the only reason why I was proposing that day, Jason. But Jason's a big musician himself. And of course, he's a live musician himself. And of course, Jason is a big fan of live music because he's involved in it himself. Jason, I hope you're feeling better and better every day, recovering from your surgeries recently. Mike is saying Boucher's offense seems better and he's disruptive on defense. He's a solid vet. Exactly, Mike. I will echo everything you're saying and get right behind it. Nako's saying it's early. Shed is playing well for Raptors rookie. If he goes to 905, he goes to 905. He just offers valuable play to the main roster. I think he's just versatile in anything. And these guys have no ego. They're going to go where our team asks them to go, and they need to do it. And honestly, we know what's best for them. Darko's a development genius. Well, if he says you need to go to 905, you better listen to coach, is what I'm saying. Blackhawks saying Boucher had some winning moments on defense. Yeah, he didn't score. He missed all of his shots, but he was out there sacrificing his body. And that's the one thing I'll say for him and Fernando. They were out there sacrificing their body. Even Jakob, to a degree, was taking a lot of hits from dirty people like Andre Drummond and Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre Jr. was hitting everybody left and right all over the place. Dirty-ass player, Kelly Oubre. Yeah, Blackhawks saying the game had plenty of empty seats, but the arena sounded lively. Yeah, they brought some noise, and it was a sellout still. They did have every people there, but sometimes they'll sell the tickets, and some people won't bother to come down there. They'll just have their seat empty. Either way, we came at it right. We won the game, and that's what matters. That's what matters. Nako's saying Nick coaches the team he wants, not the team he has. And oh my God, Milwaukee seems like a way better team for Nick to coach. hindsight's 2020. Sometimes if you're in a rage and you're mad at a team for firing you, you make a grudge match choice. And I don't think it was the right choice. I told him when he made it, I said, you should have went to Phoenix. You would have been in the sun running that team out there in the Western Conference. You wouldn't have seen us only twice a year. But nah, you had to go to a division rival, a grudge match, a team that we hate, a team that we've had many battles with over the decades. And there's a lot of history. So, Nick, you put yourself in this position, you get what you get, is what I say to you. Yeah, you get what you get. That's right. Sue saying, congrats on 1,000 subs, Lex. Well deserved. Thanks for watching my channel. There are a couple of reasons why I play live. Some versions, a lot of people ask, or I can't get through copyright claims. See, that's what I thought it was. I totally get it, Sue. Well, when you can sneak in some of the original videos sometimes, I'd love that too. But yeah, listen, I love your channel and I'm a huge supporter of it. And I am watching it all the time still, Sue. Even if I'm not commenting, I'm still seeing what you're doing. And I'm very much supporting you, just like you support me. I love you so much, Sue. And I hope I get to see you this season at a Raptor Freak meet and greet at some point. Yeah, but that totally makes sense. I mean, it makes sense that like they'd get flagged for copyright, probably more likely with the official videos. Yeah, Blackhawks saying, I thought Suns would beat Lakers. I got that wrong. Yeah, I was hoping they would. In some ways, I don't like the Lakers being 2-0 to start. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. It ain't right. It ain't right. Nako saying, I only watched half the game. Looks like the Suns would win. Well, in some ways, the Suns are broken. Kevin Durant is older. In some ways, these guys are getting into the lazy part of their older age in the league, whether it's LeBron, whether it's Kevin, whether it's Steph Curry even. They're near the end. And in some ways, what they built in Phoenix, Matasheba, you've got an interesting arena. You got interesting things going on. But, man, Kevin's past his prime, and he may never win ever again. And in some ways, he's the one who's in the way of himself winning at this point, honestly, is like some of the problem right there. Yeah, it's very, very weird. Andrew's saying, yeah, remember when Scotty was a rookie, he took some technical free throws over Fred. I think it's about building confidence. Yeah, for sure. Blackhawk. So I went to bed, woke up and saw them lose. Let's not underestimate the NBA's manipulative powers with ref manipulation to make Bron and Bronny justified to get the attention that they want to put on them this year. It may be a very, very, very on purpose way that they're manipulating and helping them with the refs to win as much as possible so that they can justify why the Lakers are putting so much on blast on TV, and the Bron and Bronny show can be forefront in front of all of our faces. So I wouldn't put it past there's some ref manipulation helping the early success of the Lakers right now. I don't know. I haven't watched the game specifically, but this is totally something that would be in the NBA's books to try and make this seem like this is supposed to be happening and natural. Does that make sense, what I just said? That would make sense to me. The Hawks have fans? Stargate's laughing. That's funny. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Let's see. Andrew said, when Masai heard this was a weak class, he must have jumped out of his seat knowing this class would be underscouted. Masai said this before in an interview. He said, I don't believe there's ever a bad draft. It's just you find the good players. And, well, Masai's good at finding the good players, even if it doesn't seem like it. Blackhawks saying many of the scouts were too busy trying to find the next Wemby, and they missed the gems. Well, that's one thing. You can be lazy in anything you do, whether it's going after rebounds or scouting around the world to find out who's the best players. And Masai is not lazy in scouting. We know that. That's for sure. Mike's saying the top of the draft was weak, but Bobby kept saying there's solid role players and having to hit a double or triple versus a home run. Exactly. I remember that analogy too. And Mike is right with his Project Truth right here. Blackhawks saying Mogbo embracing his role. I like that. Duke Rocks is saying Shed locked down Maxey. That was a big topic last night on 76ers Nation channels. A lot of teams like Shed a lot, and they wish they had him. And in some ways, that's going to be a huge pickup. I think that this draft class is going to be very historic in the history of the Raptors, and that's part of the reason why Masai felt so good after the second night of the draft this year. In some ways, it's echoing the great, bountiful things that landed in our lap around Fred VanVleet coming to us undrafted. And in some ways, there's a lot of mirroring and reflection of that time with now. And I love that. That bodes really well for our future. It really does. Mike saying Nick is a good with defense and shooting, a lot of threes and Ds and kick and swing. Yeah, that's what he likes to do. Stargate saying people seem to forget we have a number 3 pick on the Raptors as well, RJ Barrett. Scotty is not the highest pick on the team. That's right. In some ways, we do have 2 very high lottery picks with RJ Barrett and Scotty. And thank you for reminding us, Stargate. Thank you. Smooth saying Jacoby Walter signed a deal with Jordan Brand. That's cool. I like that. Jumpman Brand is putting Jacoby on blast. That's right. And Jordan's not picking people that aren't good. Like he picked Brandon Miller before he took off on the Hornets. Well, he wants to say, hey, I want to put that Jacoby Walter on Brand with Jordan Brand. Well, that's a good sign right there. That's Jordan knows his talent. That's what I'm saying. Nick's saying back-to-backs is just a money grab by the league. There are no back-to-backs in the playoffs, just consecutive games, and that can be simulated in the regular season. You know, back-to-backs are necessary in some ways in the league because they got to condense the 82-game schedule over a certain period of time, and everybody's got to do them. It's just a fact of life in the NBA. That's right. We wish they wouldn't exist, and maybe at some point in the NBA's history they won't, but they do still right now, and everybody has to do them. And that's just how it is. Michael Anthony, running with the devil. Ah, yeah. For real. Yeah. David saying, sorry I timed you out, Blackhawk. Was unintentional. It's all good, David. You're good. Don't worry. I know you feel bad. It's all good. Wayne saying, not beating up on Bruno. We need him in his position to gel with the young crew. That bench crew needs to function, needs his position to be great, but very functional. To be not great, but very functional and not a liability. He works and we do value him. Okay, Wayne, I'm glad you clarified your stance. And yeah, that's about where I'm at with him too. Stargate saying, did IQ travel with the team to Minneapolis? No, he did not. IQ is staying back here in Toronto. He did not get on the plane last night after the game. He's going to continue to rehab here. It could very well be that Kelly also didn't go on the trip or Jacoby, but RJ did. And that is a sign that he may be suiting up tonight right now. That's right. Cut the channel, cut it out because it's 3:18. That's right. No more comments. Thank you, Isaac. There's the scissors. There's Mike. There's Blackhawk. There's the knives are out. The axes are out. Holy crap. Mike's saying, okay, that's the classic card. And thank you guys for doing that. And what's Sue's channel called? It's called Play It Again Sue. So look it up, Jason. It's a fantastic channel. Sue's been doing awesome. She's getting a lot of subs. I think she has more than me. She has way more than 1,000. And she's awesome. Listen, Sue has different guests on the show, and she's always doing an eclectic mix of different kinds of music. So I like that a lot. Mike's saying back-to-backs is due to scheduling and arenas, other teams, and concerts, and the NHL. That's a part of it also right there. That's right. And there's Isaac putting in the link. You know, I should make Isaac a wrench again. And so he can do that, and he doesn't have to worry about that. So, Isaac, you're going to get a wrench back. You've been a standard wrench for me before. Why not? Why not again? All right, let's see. Mike's last comment. The playoffs make more money, so they get priority. Yeah, and they're primetime games, and they have to be offset from each other so that no other playoff games going on at the same time. All eyes on that one NBA playoff game at that time. That's why the Raptors will have to play a noon game on Saturday in the first round of the playoffs. All right, let's run it down and get the hell out of here. We got a lot to cover real quick. Injuries for tonight for the Raptors. I'm pretty sure that RJ Barrett's going to play tonight. Why would he even travel to Minnesota on a red eye last night to get in there? He's going to be some reinforcements for the Raptors against the Timberwolves tonight in the starting lineup. I'm going to tell you right now, Davion Mitchell, Grady Dick, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl will be your starting lineup tonight. No Kelly Olynyk, no Bruce Brown, no Jacoby Walter, no Emmanuel Quickley, but we will get RJ back tonight. I'm telling you, the Minnesota Timberwolves are not having any injuries whatsoever. You're going to get Chris Finch's team 100% healthy and out there as it should be. Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, Jalen McDaniels, Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert. And now we got to win the matchup battles. Once again, Gobert versus Poeltl, Randle versus Barnes, Jalen McDaniels versus Barrett, Davion Mitchell versus Mike Conley, Grady Dick versus Anthony Edwards. And if he can't guard him, get Oshai in there to try and shut down the Ant-Man. Is what I'm going to say. Our referees for today are very interesting. We got Curtis Blair as the crew chief. The magician, Murat Kogut, is the second ref, and Daniel Scott is the third ref. And technically, the two refs, Curtis Blair and Murat Kogut, favor the Raptors. Daniel Scott is exactly down the middle. 50% wins for the Raptors, 50% wins for the Timberwolves. It's one of the most neutral referee crews that we've ever had, and they're doing the ref report. There's very, very split down the middle, guys, just so y'all know. Last night, we had a great game, a win over the Sixers, and Nick Nurse has been defeated by the Raptors for the first time since he left. A fantastic win. My 5 stars of the game were Jakob Poeltl, Scotty Barnes, Jonathan Mogbo, Jamison Battle, and Oshai Abaji. Yeah. We have a birthday today, guys. A couple of birthdays. Happy birthday to former assistant coach of the Raptors, Walker Russell. Walker Russell, Happy birthday to you, my guy. He is 64. And also, happy birthday to the Raptors' only ever first pick in the draft, Il Mago, Andrea Bagnani. It's Andrea's birthday, and he is actually 39 today, guys. So happy 39th birthday to Andrea Bagnani. We love you, Il Mago, and you are appreciated in Raptors world. And you know what? I never dish you, man. Nobody ever called you a bust out of my mouth. You are a solid NBA player as the number one pick, and you did all right in your career. So I ain't got no hate for Andrea Bargnani on his birthday today. There you go. That's pretty much it, guys, for everything. Oh, he didn't finish filling it out. Why did you not do that, David? I thought you were here. All right, never mind. You're not. I'll put it in. There you go. All right, y'all. If you have a fantasy team, keep up with it. Put your lineup in and make waiver wire moves if you have to. Fiercey, I see you're the only one who has not made a waiver wire move. I hope you're not the only one asleep at the wheel, MJ. You better check on your fantasy team, is what I'll say about that. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching the Lexathon today. 3.5 hours of fun with Lex reacting to the Sixers win. Oh, yeah, baby. That's right, Nick Nurse. Good luck with those guys. How about that? How about that, butthole face? Yeah, and good job, Darko. Yeah, we beat you. We beat you. And we love you, Kayla. And we love you, West Palm Beach boys, Scotty Barnes and Jonathan Mogbo. Let's keep the excellence going. And let's see if we can get another win tonight against the Timberwolves in a game. Honestly, a lot of people are probably thinking we have no chance to win. Bless up to you, Omari Parsons. Thank you, Nick Nurse from Isaac Campbell. And I appreciate everybody for being here. Such a diverse cast of Raptor freaks showing up today. I appreciate all the comments and the long stream. If you hung with me all the way, wow, you're awesome. If you do not watch me live, I totally recommend that you watch at 1.5 or 1.75 speed. It'll make my streams a lot shorter and quicker. I'll be back tomorrow at the regular time to react to our game tonight, good or bad. We will be reacting to it tomorrow. All right, man. All right. This is going to be a fun season, isn't it? Seeing what happened last night was awesome. And yeah, I like wearing red more than purple. Let's go!